I'm sure he's still got tons of people in there. He probably still has the Fallcrest Elite in there too.
Yeah,
probably XP.
I'm making
XP siphons.
Meta joke in the sense that we all split.
Oh, that's right.
Intentionally. I don't even remember why it broke up. Who had to leave that made it break up?
Jonathan and Mattia.
It's the only guys from that one that carried over to Wrath of the Dragons was just you two and Clarence, right?
Yep.
You
it was just
me and Mark.
Clarence. Yeah, because Clarence took over after Trek left.
Pedro split. Tarek?
Yeah. Oh wait, was it? No, Pedro was playing. Pedro played with Clarence.
He was a new character. He was an all new character.
Yeah.
So he didn't directly replace him. He just replaced his member in the party.
Yeah, because Tarek finally left, and then his character disappeared in the prison realm, and then all of a sudden, remember Clarence's character, his oh gosh, I can't remember the race now. I'm too tired. The demon born,
like
the
tiefling or something.
Yeah, he was the tiefling that looked exactly like your body.
Oh yeah. He was my twin. I remember that. That's hilarious.
Well, was he a twin? Was he a clone? What was he?
Yeah, my character. Yeah, I had a crazy backstory. Like I'd lost my body and I was trying to find my body again.
Yeah.
But I was in the body of a stupid shardling.
Shard. Yep.
Get back to my demure tiefling self.
The ring that turns you into an elf.
Yeah. I was like, well, it's better than a shardling. It's an upgrade. So I went around in an illusion all the time.
It was awesome. There were so many shenanigans happening in that game. It was ridiculous.
And then when Clarence showed up, he's in my original body.
Yes.
So I'm like always trying to protect my face. Like, no, not my face.
Don't hit him. Don't hit him in the face.
Oh God, I remember that nonsense now.
And you would never refer to him by name. You would always call him individual in my body.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. That was fun. See, I was the only one in that group that really, really role played. Everyone else was just like, okay, when do we get to the next bag of XP?
Yeah, that's right. When's the next 500 skeletons?
Yeah. That was fun. All right, so you guys ready to get started?
Yep, let's do it.
Sure.
Who would like to recap? Now, granted, there's not that much to recap because the session fell short, but who wants to do it anyways?
That was Jacob's internet fault.
Yeah. It's been raining too much. That's what I'm worried about, the rain right now.
Yeah. Well, wants to jump at it? I'll do a quick recap. Guys, descended down from the mountain and you found a totem covered in gore and skulls. But upon closer inspection, Azar realized the skulls are fashioned out of carven rocks, and the blood is actually pulverized roots and vines and shit. And so, oh crap, they're trying to beseech Yinugo, whatever his fucking name is. I think it's Yinogu.
Mm-hmm.
I almost went like Cthulhu there. I was like Yegoth. Anyways, he's attempt to beseech them to send them fresh flesh to feast upon. But that happened to be you guys. You're so lucky. Well, as you're moving through the woods, you come across a knoll. And Perrin easily kills it. And then Azar proceeds to go over and retrieve his heart and drink some blood and then prepare to open his arm, and Relay is like, no. Now that you've drank that blood, allow me to push you aside.
And he cut his heart out.
Yeah, he reanimates the upper portion of the knoll because Perrin had cut him in half. And he asked him, "Where is the skull?" And the gnoll very confusedly replied, "In your head skin." And he's like, no, where's the evil skull? And he says, "In my head skin." Rayleigh rolls his eyes and drops the gnoll as he realizes he doesn't know anything. The players are a bit confused by the fact that they don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of hoping they can figure it out. But Perrin sees a gnoll run off in the shadows, and he doesn't want him to run to his buddy, so he chases him down and chops off his leg. As he's falling to the ground, drastically overcommitted to his swing, and is falling through and off balance, which allows the gnoll to strike him in the back of the ankle and drop him to the ground, causing him to take a head wound.
I wasted so much potential and a Crux on that and got nothing out of it.
It was horrible.
You went through, I think you put 2 Crux into it. It was ridiculous. And a daily spell.
Yeah.
Like, collectively, you probably rolled like 10 or 12 dice for that fail.
And I needed like
I think it was an obstacle 3.
3?
Yeah.
But anyways.
Man, that was bad.
So, anyways,
Win them all.
Azar comes up, pushing Carl Fatman ahead of him, and has the bright idea to fear him. Nobody's really sure why. He had the dream of Carl Fatman falling on the gnoll and squishing him to death, but the fear actually caused Carl Fatman to run off into the night. Relay and Perrin time to reacclimate themselves to the area. They killed the gnoll, and then they pursue Carl Fatman to find that he's being devoured by other gnolls, and then a larger fight ensues. And that's basically where the session ended, with you guys Relay performing a Raiden-style diving attack into people over and over. That was pretty good.
It was defensive bludgeoning.
Yeah.
Shield bashing.
And Azar did some more tentacleizing of stuff, and Perrin proceeded to just meat grind everything into bits.
I remember stabbing something in both its eyes with my daggers.
Oh yeah, you slit the throat of the prone one that you snuck up behind too. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was altogether a good fight. You guys went through a lot of potential, but there's lots of slaughter that you left in your wake. And now the night appears to be clear. You don't hear any footsteps or running or huffing or growling. You would think, with all the loud clashing and Carl Fatman screaming bloody murder off into the night, anything that wanted to eat by this point. So you feel that you have some time for respite, and that's where we will pick it up.
Poor Carl Fatman.
Maybe Carl's head is the skull. Azar, you want to carve him open?
I mean, I'll carve him open, but I don't think his skull is skull of Balthazar.
Okay, go ahead and start. And Relay turns and runs off.
You go running away from...
I'm going to kneel over Carl Fatman and say a prayer to usher his soul into the next world.
Okay.
And take my sword back from him.
Guess he didn't need it.
You're not going to be needing this.
I was so going to teach him how to use that thing, too.
Oh, man. Carl Fatman's so ideas type, because, why not going around with you? I mean, he's just a point through which I can script fear. There's some pack of rolls.
Carl!
Well, do we find anything else of value on the gnolls?
Well, you
I took one of the
you're
shields.
Interested in. Yeah, you can take the shield. It's a relatively low quality small shield. It's not going to offer you additional dice and defensive checks. However, when asking to sacrifice something so that you can buy down the obstacle, you would be able to sacrifice the shield.
Cool.
Basically letting it be destroyed for a one-time buy down.
Now, if I was being an engine of chaos at this moment in time, I'd have Relay walk forward and raise Carl Fatman.
Oh my god! If you raise Carl, don't make me strike down.
You are gonna mentally tear apart a parent.
Oh my god!
Well, that totally left open for a compel.
No. You.
Oh, we're gonna be. I'm gonna end up killing one of you.
I could channel necromantic power of the gods.
Yeah, I'm. He's not just dead. Like, there's chunks of him missing and torn out and eaten, face chewed off like he was attacked by a chimpanzee. It's not exactly like Carl in the same sense.
Yeah,
Carl.
Maybe we could raise him as like one of those demented zombies or something. He kind of just follows us around and moans and complains. Oh, look what happened to me. What's wrong with my arm?
He'll be our pack mule. Just keep him on a chain.
Exactly. we just kind of sign him to Perrin. Perrin's got to take care of him.
Oh, poor fat man.
Aaron would probably feel obligated to take care of him.
I love that meme.
Yeah, that's a great meme.
They got Toad.
Well, gentlemen, I think
Memes always crack.
we're gonna need to keep moving. We need to get off this mountain so we can rest, but we're still in Knoll country.
Yep.
I agree. We need to get off this mountain.
Are you going to continue to head north? It's sort of north is the downward slope that would
We came
obviously
this way,
lead you
right?
eventually to plains. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Relay's
Walk
going to
this
have a moment of kind of some frustration, and he's going to be like, well, what about their skulls? They said that their skulls were evil. Maybe the skulls are right there.
I don't honestly think the Lich would send us for such an easy task if he just had to kill a couple gnolls.
I agree. I think we're gonna have quite a trek ahead of us.
And Rila stop and kind of put his head in his hands and like,
I'll turn around.
Relay's
Have faith,
fascinating.
Relay. God is with us. We will find the skulls.
he'll turn to Perrin and say, which one?
There is only one God. One true God.
OTG?
I said, and his name is Death.
His name is Death.
All right. So you guys are heading through the forest, correct?
Yes.
You guys make your way pretty far away from the knoll area. It does seem pretty quiet. You get to a portion of the woods that, like a clearing, where the sun, the moon and the stars shine down into it. It's safe looking. There's wood around. You could arrange, put together a fire or something if you guys are interested in stopping for the night. It's a decent area.
I would definitely think it's a good idea.
It's probably, yeah, good idea. I'll take the first watch.
I don't
No.
know. Lay down and pass out.
You guys, the nature in which you were snatched up, you guys are traveling with proper traveling gear, except for maybe Relay, because he ran back to the house and was getting stuff to prepare to bug out. So Azar and Perrin, you guys don't have camping gear, and the only blankets and things of that nature and tinder and to make fire and all that stuff would be Relay's.
Ha-ha.
Are you going to prepare a fire or something?
I lay down on the ground and just pass out from exhaustion.
Okay. No fire?
I would probably not make a fire.
Yeah, we don't want to attract attention.
Okay. Relay's gonna be, but it's
No
getting
fire?
cold.
It is certainly cold. I mean, it is the harvest season. It's the end of. It's in fall basically. So yeah, it's going to be cold at night.
I will leave it up to Relay.
Azar's already asleep.
Azar's like, let's light a fire on Azar.
So yes or no, Relay, campfire or not?
He's thinking, but he's trying to think of a way of shielding it, the fire better. Maybe building like 3 walls around the fire first, and then lighting the fire.
Yeah, I mean,
You could just
classic campfire is dig a hole, arrange rocks around it so that it'll block its
Light ignition
vision from too far, protect it from the wind, that nature.
Okay, we'll do it.
So you want a fire?
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna throw Perrin in the fire now.
think.
All right, you guys
Really,
prepare a campfire.
Right
Yeah.
Now, before you crash out, Perrin, remember you have received head trauma. Would you like to do something to address your head trauma so that you can downgrade that wound, or are you just going to walk around with a...
No, I should probably take care of that somehow.
I can
Well,
do
one of
some
the-
medical work on him.
Yes, medic is how you would treat it. In Relay, you probably would have the medical supplies.
I do.
Obviously, if you have magic or anything of that nature where you can alter it, that's a possibility too. I don't remember if anyone has a healing.
I only had healing grace. I didn't really have any other magic.
I have.
Oh, right, and that Noel removed your healing grace.
Yeah, all I have is to regain potential.
Yeah.
Not
That's fine.
not any actual
The
healing.
healing grace that I gave Perrin, the target gains 2 points of recovery for its next check. Is that the one that got wasted on or something?
Yeah, it got stolen by the Noel
Okay.
through divine something or other. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but it happened.
Yeah. So I do have the medic skill that I could perform on him to see about downgrading that or taking care of his concussion. I mean, concussions just don't go away, but...
Well, it'd be the equivalent of, I mean, it's D&D land. There'd be like
so
some magic herbs that do some magic crap.
Yeah, some herbs, drink some water, eat some of those oranges, just kind of general feel better.
Right.
Yeah. And if you want to do healing, whatever it was called, healing grace to him again, you can. You have 1 daily spell open and you guys are about to rest for the night.
Oh, it's true.
So those would all reset.
2 points to recovery check. All right, so I'll do that, and then I'll do a medic check on him too.
All right, you got to beat an obstacle too because it's a level 2 wound.
Okay, I'll use 2 of my potential, also just to make sure.
So with the potential and the recovery, like my recovery is 3, so I would, and I'm at 5 potential. After a rest, I'd be up to 8 potential.
Hold on a second. Oh, Lee crap.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a really
Wow,
great
nice
roll.
man.
You know, normally when you recover, it downgrades 1 slot, so you'd still have a level 1 head trauma. But because Relay healed you, and maybe even he channeled a bit of Pelor, who was reaching out to you, Perrin, or something. For some reason, you feel pristine, and the head trauma goes away completely.
Woo!
Now it will be gone in the morning. For now, you still have 3 recovery for the night, but he gave you the spell, divine whatever, that gave you 2 additional recovery. So everybody who sleeps recovers a flat 5 potential. The fire,
Okay.
you get to roll 1d6. If it succeeds, you gain additional potential for it.
For the
Oh,
fire.
really?
Yes.
Do we all roll that?
Yes, everyone rolls 1d6. You gain 5 potential flat because I don't think anyone else had a wound but him. Nope, Jacob has.
Nice.
Jacob, you have a wound. You would recover 3.
I recover 3.
Yeah, you have a moderate.
Well, I rolled a 6 for my campfire one, so would I get 4?
You would get 4, and 6s automatically explode when resting, so you can roll again.
Oh.
Nice.
Exploded. Ah!
Holy crap. Okay, roll again.
Let's go
Roll
for the
again.
6 and some of the devil. Oh, never mind.
Okay, so you actually recover 5 potential total.
Sweet.
Perrin,
to
you
make
did not really
Yeah.
recover an additional, and Relay you did. So Relay, you recovered 6. Perrin, you recover 3. And Azar, you recover 5.
Nice.
In addition to the 5? Or just
No,
total?
no, no. That's
So I'm
total.
at 5, so I go
but
to 8.
Right, because you recovered a flat 5 because you had 3 from your wound, and then he gave you 2, so that's 5 recovery right there. And then you failed on the dice roll for the additional from the fire, so you just get 5. Yeah, and you'd be up to 8.
Perfect.
And how much? Okay, that was potential I recovered, right?
Correct.
And then how much
Potential.
recovery do I recover?
Your recovery represents how much potential you gain during rest. You have no
Oh,
wounds.
gotcha.
Oh wait, you're singed.
I'm
Shit, I forget you were
singed.
singed by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would only have
Oh,
recovered
roll.
3.
Yep.
Oh, I only recovered
you would
3
only
total?
3, but you did succeed on the roll, so you'd recover 4 total.
Okay. So I
And that
go
reminds me,
5
before
then.
rest, you would also need to do some sort of medical upon yourself as well.
Okay.
Probably on my face, right? It's all like infected and shit.
Yep.
Well, could
you
I?
would definitely need it.
Okay. Could I do that?
Everybody needs a
recovery-
medical check.
recovery on myself.
I tell you what, your role was so profoundly badass that I'm going to let everybody's stuff recover from it.
Okay.
Like you just went around like Jesus laying on hands and shit. So everyone's wounds are going to be gone. Okay? Because I think that makes
Yeah.
sense, because that was you doubled the objective. That's pretty intense.
So can I say that happened before I
No.
with my potential?
No, you
to
can't
go
say
up?
that. No, you can't say that because you recover after the sleep.
Right. So then I should recover because I healed everybody before we slept, and then I'll go to sleep,
but
and then I should recover.
It takes. I understand what you're saying. That's
Yeah.
not how it works.
Oh,
You do the checks before you sleep, and the finality is the next morning. So you still have to deal with the fact that you were wounded.
okay.
You see
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like this game anymore.
Well, remember, it's a pacing thing, and wounds are very realistically dangerous, and you have to really measure if you want to take these wounds. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like real life. You don't. When you get in a fight and you get your ass kicked, you're out of commission for a while.
So does my recovery stay at 3 then right now, or does it go back up to 5?
No, you can go ahead and bump it up to 5. It's already functioned at 3, and it's
Okay.
going to be the next morning after this rest.
Gotcha.
All right, who takes the first watch?
I do.
All right,
Are these
you guys
oranges
all
that,
go to.
the oranges that Rayleigh gave us? Are they like regular oranges, or are these like weird oranges?
They're magical oranges.
They're very weird. They have a additional tang to them. There's additional vitamin C in them.
So they're better for
Look
me.
out.
All right, then I'm gonna start
No,
cutting
there's nothing.
open the oranges and eating them because we need to eat.
Okay. Now, you
And we
two
don't
go
wanna
to sleep.
scare
You pass out, and Perrin, you're on watch, right?
Yes, sir.
And as you stare into the fire, you get a vision of the skulls you're supposed to be pursuing.
Sweet.
I see the vision in the fire.
Yeah, They just kind of manifest in the flames.
Quick, grab it.
Can I pray to Pelor for guidance and wisdom about what this vision means? To try to learn more
Absolutely.
about the vision?
What are you going to use to pray to him?
I don't have
Will, I suppose?
Yeah, I don't have a religion, so I guess will would kind of make sense. Will or lore.
Yeah, I think we're basing your stuff off will. I don't see lore.
That makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah, you do have lore at 3.
It's the same as will, so.
Yeah, I would say will, because it's like you beseeching your God, and you're trying to will him to respond to you. I'll set it at an obstacle 2 to get him to inform you of something.
I am going to pray an extra 2 because I am frustrated by this situation, so I'm going to use 2 potential on this as well.
Okay.
Oh my good lord! You know what? I got something for this, so because I haven't slept yet and I've got daily spells to burn, I'm going to use the divine favor. You may re-roll all dead ducks.
All right, go for it.
So
I mean, this is a learning experience here. You could record an XP if you take the success at minor cost.
I want to know what these damn skulls are.
All right.
All right, I'm going to roll a random 2.
All right.
Oh, nice.
You got 2 successes, and that would be enough.
Can I explode that 6?
Explode it.
Like to. You do have a point, Crux, to explode with.
Oh, that's right. You got to use a Crux to explode it.
Do we recover Cruxes as well when we sleep?
Cruxes strictly come from your motivations. As you create motivations, you gain Cruxes. As you pursue motivations, you get Crux at the end of the session.
Yeah, I'll explode it. Why not? All right. So
you got 3 successes. So that's with a minor bonus. Now, your God. Now remember, the problem with Pelor / Paladin is that he's grown distant, and he doesn't really guide people the way he used to, and things of that nature. And that's kind of the problem with the world right now. Is the wise father, the wise king, has more or less turned a blind eye to the world. So as you beseech him, a very hands-off, kind of dismissive, almost annoyed, something about a temple. He lets you know that there's a temple with which the skulls are arranged, and he gives you a vision of the innermost sanctum, and the skulls are arranged on 13 pedestals in a circle, and in the center of the circle is a spiraling sigil. Like if you know the splat screen to the Curse of Tokzitrahl, where it's got the guy drawing something on a wall behind him with the axe, that sort of spiral, that spiral is carved into the ground in the middle of the 13 skulls, and it's probably about 25 feet across. So it's a pretty big inner sanctum with this sigil carved into the middle.
Okay.
And that is what you learn. The bonus was the fact that there's 13 skulls. Otherwise, I was just going to tell you a temple exists. Now you know that they're on pedestals and it's inner sanctum. So,
and that
it's definitely worth a roll, I think. Definitely worth some info. Or
yeah,
worth
absolutely.
a bonus there.
I was assuming that 13 were spread out, so that's good to know that they're kind of all there.
All right. You eventually come out of your reverie of staring into the fire, and you feel, enough time has passed and it's time to pass the watch. Who would you like to awaken?
I will awaken Relay.
All right.
No one trusts Azar.
Go ahead and wake him up.
Very kind of gently and cautiously, since I know he's a crazy person.
He's not crazy.
I'm going to kind of lightly tap him on the shoulder.
Poke him with a stick. Oh.
Quietly relay, time to wake up.
Yeah, flame strikes will shoot throughout his hands and singe Perrin.
And I'm dead.
All right.
Holy flames.
Relay, once you're up and I would assume you do the proper watch stuff, pace around, check the perimeter a bit, and eventually you find your...
I was going to say, before I go to bed, I'll relay the info about the skulls to Relay.
Yep. Wow. Oh, you tell me the information?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you share it?
The god that we worship, because I'm still just like blindly refusing to acknowledge your other gods, came to me in a vision. The skulls are in a temple on this pedestal, and they're all at the same temple. So if we can find that temple, we will be on our way to saving all the innocent people.
Okay, Relay kind of takes a step back from Perrin, and he's kind of rolls his eyes up in his head, kind of like he's looking towards his head. He's like, my mother used to refer to me as a temple. He kind of takes a step back from Perrin.
Cool. She sounds like a wonderful lady. May
Crazy
God bless her soul.
You're like, oh, it's getting late. I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. And he'll take.
I'm just taking a quick note.
Okay.
So I don't remember. So I don't forget that. I almost said so I don't remember.
He'll take on the watch.
Relay's mother called him a temple.
Yes.
All right. You take on the watch. You pace about a bit. The corners of the perimeter, I guess, the perimeter of the fire cast, and so on and so forth, doing proper watching stuff, and eventually your gaze falls on the fire, and you become entranced by it.
Ooh. Nice. Relay freaks out, and that's in my head.
You, as you're focusing on the fire and seeing this vision, you feel the feeling of a hand gently caressing your head, even though you're in a helmet. It just feels, not that head, Jacob, skull.
In the
your
skull.
skin sac that holds a skull. Anyway, something you feel a gentle hand caresses your head, and then a whisper in your ear that you swear is your mother's voice. You hear it say, "In vast swamp lay hidden the temple of the forbidden."
Okay.
Hey, I have a spell called Detect Thoughts, and it says that I just can hear the surface thoughts. Would I hear this stuff going on in his head? If I were
not unless if you'd have to cast it, and the way Detect Thoughts works is you could see what they're immediately thinking about. So it could be used passively for an interrogation. Like you could ask someone, where do you keep all your money? And then they would get a vision of their locker or some shit. And you could be like, oh, it's in your locker. And they'd be like, no, it's not. And you're like, I saw it,
Essentially, what I'm asking is he's hearing this. Is it emanating from the fire? Is it in his head? And if it's in his head, would I hear that? Or is it just him? Does that count as a thought going on in his head?
Both of those are very interesting theories, but you're very much asleep.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be possible for you to do it. I mean, because you were pretty low on potential. You were worn out. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm gonna stay up all night and eavesdrop on people, because that would require a lot of energy from you to concentrate on a spell, and you wouldn't get to rest, and that would ultimately be bad for you.
One more question: do creatures know when I'm casting that on them?
That's the beautiful thing about detect thoughts, is it friends, that's your cantrip that you could just do at will, and it does have the backfire of they know. Detect thoughts, surface thoughts, but you can actually pointedly probe at something very specific you want to draw out of their mind, and that they will be aware of.
Okay.
And they
so
can,
there's no like
they
being
can
sneaky
fight
with it.
you.
Gotcha.
Right, that they're aware of, and it requires a roll from you, using your casting to manually go in and try to excavate knowledge. And if you fail, you fail. So
okay,
you could potentially not get anything from them,
or the wrong thing.
and they'd be very much aware of it. And consequences for going in and lobotomizing someone, there's no telling what would happen.
Right. Come here, Rayleigh. I was kidding.
Yeah. Obstacle 7, go.
That's right. Now, everyone else is asleep, right?
Everyone's asleep. What would you like to do?
Okay, Relay wants to go through their stuff.
They have no stuff. It's literally what's on their person.
Oh, okay. They don't have like backpacks or anything like that.
Even relatively prepared. Azar might have like a small reagents pouch, but I mean, it'd be like
I have
puppy
that
dog tails and snails and shit like that.
Okay.
The tomb, right?
You should let him do that, because I have that Grumsh idol. Maybe I can touch it and gods will trip up.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you could go do a superficial check over their gear. If you like go to touch it in any greater degree, you'd have to pass stealth tests.
Okay. So anything superficial?
So would you like to do
he finds as he's kind of looking around and, kind of making the rounds around the thing there, and kind of leans in and looks around Azar's area and into his backpack or whatever.
As you inspect Azar, you could see he's got his 2 blades tucked into his belt. He's backpackless.
Okay.
He's got a book of some sort that's leather bound and sealed in like a belt and a buckle so it doesn't fall open. And he's got that affixed to his hip as well, through like a, I don't know, I just imagine Warhammer book sheaths that they have, because they always carry a Bible with them everywhere.
I'm totally cool with that. I like that.
Okay.
And then he's got his little hip of reagents, and you can see that there's a Grumsh idol too big for the pouch. The head pops out. The one-eyed orc god with wearing his eye patch. It's unmistakable who it is.
Okay. Relay will raise his mace up over Azar's head, look up to the sky, then look back down at Azar, and then slowly brings his mace back down, then walks over and checks over Perrin.
All right. Perrin, when you inspect him, all he has is the chainmail he's wearing, the great sword that lays next to him, his sword, his shitty little null shield, and a couple of oranges. And his icon of Pelor, I would imagine it's like a medallion or some sort of emblazoned patch on his arm or something that signifies that he's a worshiper of Pelor / Paladin. He prefers the name Paladin because it's a regional thing, but they're the same god.
Yeah. Okay, Relay will go through the same process that he just went through for Azar.
Lift up the mace and then put it down.
Lift up the mace, look up to the sky, wait for a few minutes. Anything happen?
Nothing happens.
Okay, then he lowers it back down again. And then continues his search around.
You would probably be mildly frustrated as no gods are giving you any sort of insight over these two.
Yep.
A degree of abandonment. You know, it's like sometimes they won't leave you alone, and sometimes
right.
It's like, where's a cop when you need? It's like, where are you?
To relay, it's more like, yep, you're doing it again. Anytime that I ask for something, you're never there. But when I really don't need you, then you're always there, messing with me.
Then you're fucking shit up.
Yes, he's really kind of frustrated about the whole situation.
The gods are
absolutely.
I'm not your toy. I'm not your puppet.
He's just screaming into the night. Would that wake us up?
I'm not your clown. Just don't dance for everybody.
Some time passes.
He'll kind of just go into this tirade under his breath, trying to be a little bit quiet because he doesn't want to wake up Azar, a parent, and make them aware of his mental instability. And then he'll continue his search kind of around, just watching whatever he sees and processing anything that he might be able to from the vision that he had about the skull. Seeing if there's any sort of landscapes or anything that he had seen that he could determine or that would help him in his search.
Welcome to evaluate that picture again and determine landscapes from it.
Exactly. Well, there was an eye and a skull, but he's trying to, in that picture, when I'm looking at it, is there any sort of, I mean, because a lot of it would be illusion and, you know, representation, like the eye coming out of the skull and the wings coming out the sides. There's representation of things. Is there anything that he can determine off of that?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It broke up where you said there's an eye coming out of the skull.
Oh, okay.
And then wings, I think.
Because in the vision, there's just certain things on there, and there's certain. As I'm looking at that picture, there's wings coming out the side of the skull. There's an eye coming out the top of it, and above those looks like some sort of cavern or some sort of scene unfolding above it, and hence also the stuff that's coming out of its mouth spewing down onto some sort of land or something. Is there anything he can recognize from those?
We're going to say that you do indeed see some mushrooms. Speaking out of character, they look like psilocybin mushrooms. Mushrooms sprouting out of the skull, unfolding behind the eye. And while you can't identify anything specifically, you do have this vague notion of a cave.
Okay. Vague notion, and I have seen the cave before and the location and comparative to where we're currently at.
Crazy insanity. The vaguest, most psychedelic notion of a cave you can imagine.
Okay, because didn't Relay realize where he was with the oranges and stuff with the gnolls prior to in the last session?
Did you realize what?
Our current location.
Oh yeah, you guys don't know exactly where you are. You know you're in a region where oranges grow, so you're not too far north. I mean, it's very vague right now. You guys haven't nailed down an exact location. So if anybody wants to make that their motivation, that's always a possibility.
Okay, can I add that?
Anybody has an open slot? I don't think any of you have an open slot.
I do.
You do have an open slot, so yeah, you can add the motivation. Fine.
I don't know.
You all might have it to some degree. I didn't read them. Conjure heading or location of the nearest skulls of Balthazar is your motivation, Jacob. I want to become a lich. Call the competitors.
When can you?
Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me about the Crux. We never did that at the end of the session because Jacob had to leave.
That's true.
So we'll go through that real quick.
Okay.
I want to become a more powerful lich, Jacob.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. I'm on Jacob's character. I want to become more anything to process that.
Towards any of mine.
Cole, the competition of skulls for better chances. You killed Carl Fatman.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You get a crux for that.
Yeah, but wouldn't he get a
Conjure
crux too? Because he wanted to become a more powerful lich, and by killing Carl Fatman and using his magic on him, had him die. So that
did not lichify him anyway. And he didn't actively say, "This is for the purpose of lichifying." He was drinking blood out of a heart and crazy shit. It didn't count.
Okay.
Conjure a heading or the location of the nearest skulls of Balthazar. You did not do that.
I tried
successfully.
Yeah.
And then you were interrupted. Fair enough. I'll give you a crux. Tell you what, I'm not a Nazi. You have a crux.
He tried to do it, and then he got bashed out of the way.
Perrin, you're next in line. Figure out how to break the curse to save our lives. You didn't do that.
No.
Find a skull for myself and Rayleigh so that we could survive. You did not do that. Eradicate any gnolls we come across to help protect the safety of the innocents in the area. You definitely did that.
Yep.
So you could have a
crux
thing for that, the crux. And also, you eradicated the gnolls in the area. Didn't hear any more coming. If you'd like, you can erase that one and create a new one.
Okay.
Unless you want to continue to hunt gnolls, they could possibly be there. Because remember, when you...
I'll probably leave it until we get off the mountain and we feel we're actually out of gnoll country.
Okay. So I will deal... Perrin, you got one?
How did you get one, Voth?
I stole it from Perrin.
Oh.
When he used it. Azar got one. And now to look at MJ's character. Mm-hmm. Use the group to survive through the forest. You've definitely done that. That is worth a crux. Yep. Find a skull that I could survive. You have not done that. And then you have a third open motivation, which you would need to fill in.
Okay.
If you fill in a motivation right now, you will get a motivation. Or you'll get a crux, I mean.
Oh, if I fill in a motivation? Yeah, I wanted to... what were we just talking about? Oh, yeah, the location thing that we just talked about.
Yeah. How did your motivation just duplicate? You have 2, find a skull so I can survive. What was the one I read off that went away?
That was the one that survived through the forest.
Use the party to...
I just took it off because it's...
Right, that's correct.
Completed, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose it's completed.
I feel like certain
you just got 2
and others don't.
Well, I can go back. Here we go.
For the most part, I guess out of character meta, I don't really have any other great plans for the forest. But if you were to create something like "Don't get eaten by a dragon," a dragon would come your way. You know what I mean? That's kind of how motivations work.
Okay. I'm going to use something like determine location to find the cave entrance or something like that for my next motivation.
Okay. Interpret the vision.
Interpret vision to find cave entrance.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you...
or find the temple of the forbidden.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. Find the temple of the forbidden, and that encompasses all the interpretation of the vision and any other method you would require to find the cave.
Man, I know it's meta, but that picture is fucking sweet. I see it through the Hangout.
Yep.
That's meta as fuck, you asshat. No.
Take away a crux for that.
I'm just reading MJ's mind. It's cool.
That's right. That's pretty cool.
All right. And you created one. Find the temple. I already gave you a crux for that. So you're up to 3 crux, Perrin 1, Azar 4.
Yep.
And now we can continue with our rest.
Yes.
I was at 3, and you said I got 2.
You got 1.
I'm cool with 4.
Yeah.
You got 1 for that thing. Culling the herd, or whatever you called it.
The herd.
Perrin does have one. He was at 0.
I know, but
Can't
Azar could
believe you
give
got
one
one
to
for
Perrin.
killing Carl Fatman.
Killing Carl Fatman. Okay, so
Hey, it applied to his motivation. I mean, what do you want me to do?
You monster!
should I take off the use the group to survive through the forest? Or am I going to get another one for that one too then?
Yeah, I believe you got one for that one because you are using the group to survive.
But can I take that motivation off and add another motivation?
Because I consider that one completed per the last session.
Okay, so then I can.
I would also like to change one if I could.
Absolutely. If it's one you didn't complete, it's going to be a lateral move and not worth a crux.
Oh yeah.
So you actually, but you're at any point capable of removing one that you feel like you're no longer pursuing and replace it with something else. Just the fault of that of not completing it is creating a new one isn't worth the crux. It's a lateral cruxless creation. The point is that the use of that is if you have a motivation that you never get to pursue and it feels like it becomes a third wheel and useless, then it's worth replacing.
That's kind of how I feel like the Lich thing is right now. I mean, I know there's ways to work towards that and get points off of it, but I just don't see it happening in the near future.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely a good point. What would you like to replace it with?
Well, right now I'm just asleep, so it's kind of hard to say. Like, I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? No, I do know. I want to connect with Perrin on a deeper level because of that moment we had where I had like the willpower save to drag him out of there.
Oh, I forgot about that really awkward moment. Go ahead. Yeah. That's a great motivation.
Connect with the group more because I'm so like into Rayleigh and stuff too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Develop a stronger bond with the group.
There you go.
Team building. You guys are going to go to a Silicon Valley Synergy Summit about how to team build. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I want to add another motivation too. Determine Azar's true motivations concerning Relay.
You don't want to do that.
All right, do that. Determine Azar's true motivations. Yep. That's a good. See, you guys are creating really good motivations that are going to create story in RP, and this is their value.
They like pull us together too.
Go ahead and write that in, MJ, and I will shoot a crux your way. I like that. Don't forget to pursue them.
I'm going to.
That's the other part of it. You actually got to remember.
He already did the raising the mace over the top of them, you know, which was going to either be if you know he got any sort of sign from the gods, he was going to smash their heads in.
I thought you were just going to channel the gods, like you know how when people are in church and they put their hands up, like Jesus.
If he would have got any sort of inkling from the gods about it, he was going to bring the mace down on there and coup de grace him.
You're a dick.
Holy dick. Hey, I am chaotic and unstable. I am reclusive, chaotic cleric who channels random powers from the gods.
Yeah.
And I will not be subjugated.
Right. You have you've been up for quite a while now. You feel like you've been on watch long enough, and it's time to pass it off to Azar if you'd like.
Okay. I'll walk over to him. Think about raising
my mace up to the sky,
because I don't quite trust Azar. I know I can trust Perrin a little bit more, but Azar, it just all that freaky heart cutting stuff. He's just doesn't feel right. He feels like he wants to be someone that just wants to manipulate me and subjugate me. So, but he'll kind of just, kick him in the leg. You're at your turn.
I kind of wake up in a fit and slash around with my daggers. I kind of look a little scared, and then I collect myself, and I get up, and I silently just take my watch. You know, I kind of grab my robes and like the edges of my cloak, and I furl them and like put them around me, cross my arms, stay warm.
Okay. Relay's going to go over and big spoon Perrin. I'm kidding.
All right, Azar, you are awake.
As Relay's like going over to spoon with Perrin, I just want to passively just see if I get a whiff with Perrin.
What?
Relay. Is that your mace, or are you happy to see me? It's got such a big head on it. Anyways, what were you going to passively do there?
I want to see if I hear any thoughts from Relay, and also any other conscious creatures around me. I'm not sure how that works. Do I have to like be looking at them, or is it just like a thing I hear?
It's projected at a specific target. If you heard everything, that would get overwhelming really fast. Yeah. You hear insects thinking nectar and just ridiculous stuff. You wouldn't be able to differentiate anything out of a full open-minded experience.
Well, then I direct Relay.
All right. Relay, would it be safe to say that you are thinking about your vision?
Yes, absolutely.
All righty then.
And is this while he's asleep or while he's just kind of going to sleep?
While you were walking over there to go spoon with Perrin.
And it would work well when you're asleep as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it would?
Yeah, you're detecting thoughts and dreams and thoughts.
Yep. No, he would be mostly as he's, laying down and getting ready for sleep. Yeah, he's processing everything he's seen in the vision.
There, I popped it up. It's probably going to pop up for you again, Jay, but that's going to Jacob peering into your mind as you're sitting there toiling over sort of the thought of the cave, the thought of your mother's comforting voice and the weird shit she whispered you, and the vision of the skull and all this just crazy, ludicrous looking psychedelics. And imagine all that stuff is sort of flowing and moving. It's not a stationary picture. It's like a living vision of psilocybin craziness.
Okay. Do I get the feeling that this is just Relay all the time, or is this like his vision he just had?
That is a good question, and they're both sound theories. I kind of like the idea of Relay being the conduit to the universe, and like maybe his mind is always a drug trip.
That would be intense.
And I would say lean towards that. Like he is like got more DMT to his body than other people or something like that.
Yeah.
Do I feel anything when I see these images, like fear or euphoria?
When you see his visions, I think it doesn't affect you in any emotional way outside of just like maybe to a certain degree tweaking your thirst for power thing, because this is like soul vision. It's like, whoa, I wish I could visualize shit like that.
Say that again, because you like cut out pretty bad for me.
I was just saying, if anything, it's not going to affect you in any deep emotional way, but it might trigger your power hungry thing, because this is sort of a representation of his ability to channel the universe.
All right, then my hand kind of quivers a bit, almost like it wants to reach out and grasp, but I like grab it with my other hand and keep myself calm under my cloak, because I just like turn and focus on listening and scanning around us a little bit before I go look into Perrin's mind. Do I like detect?
You go look into Perrin's mind, and
Paladin in hell.
It's
you
just
see him
in a pew.
Yeah, it's kind of like it would be very religious. He would see himself in like a guardian angel over relay or something like that. Very on a bicycle throwing pamphlets out. Just generalized quasi happy religious thoughts. Like just imagine it's like rainbows and unicorns plus relay.
So
it'd
be a mixture of that, and then also like half that, and then half a complete 180. Because the reason I became religious was that my family became evil. It was like essentially I became.
Would I recognize anyone from his evil side?
Yeah,
this reminds me of an Alexander Solzhenitsyn quote where he said, "The battle of good and evil runs through the heart of every man." So I imagine like in your dreams, it's war of good and evil, and you're like cheering for the good side. Like we got to be a good guy, but we're good.
I picture his mind a lot like what he posted over there, Paladin in Hell. He's the holy guy, but he's also the demon. He's like fighting himself in there and shit. Or at least his family values or whatever.
Okay. Are you fine with that, Perrin? Like maybe you see a paladin fighting a devil and they both have your face or something like that?
That's great.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
All right.
I feel
he's fighting his dark side without a doubt.
Would I recognize that's what that means, kind of?
Oh, absolutely. Being a warlock, you'd definitely be into dream interpretation because that's kind of how you talk to your god.
Right. Okay, well then I feel a little bit of like remorse almost. Like I feel, or no, not remorse, pity. Like I feel sorry that he's having this kind of, that he can't just accept his family's power, that he feels he needs to paint himself with this holy.
I love that you feel remorse that I feel good. That's amazing.
Did I see that vision thing too, or is it just his own?
No, you can't see his. He's dreaming now, and he's dreaming what he's dreaming of, the paladin in hell, so to speak. So,
I've seen some stuff, man.
I'm seeing too much. Can he handle it? He needs to make a will check.
Oh shit. Can I handle all the images flashing at me between or from the two of them?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is your spell. You've got to be to a certain degree used to seeing into people's minds. Yeah. Now, if you probed into somebody's mind, that would require a check, and especially on failure, there's no telling what kind of backlash you could receive. I mean, that's totally different.
Okay, check this out. If I go into, like, when they're asleep, and I put my hand on their head to, like, probe their mind, and I succeed, can I do it stealthy, or do I have to roll a stealth check, then a thing check?
It's not going. It's not a subtle thing. It's like a defibrillator on your face. You know you're being probed. It's like I'm just gonna stealthily defibrillate you. Okay. Clear. It's like, oh my god, what happened? Oh man, stealth check. Oh, okay. I guess it was bad.
Are there any herbs or mushrooms or anything like that around me? Like right in the area?
What are you trying to find? Give me an idea.
Alchemic reagents, because I have crafting, and I want to see if I can maybe brew a potion of some kind that would help.
You have to give me more specifics than that. I mean, are you trying to brew an anti-diarrheal medicine or what?
No, I'm trying to think of what new ways of conjuring images versus eating no hearts.
Oh, got you. You're looking
throw into fire and enhance visions and trip balls and shit.
Oh, that's fine. I'll give you that. You could find there's something around, and you're like, oh, fire, and lick this frog's butt. I will totally be, in Vision Land.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay,
there's a cow patty around or something.
If I find a frog, then I fucking sacrifice the frog. I extend its legs and I gut it and have it drip out into the fire. And as I'm chanting, and I throw the frog in there, and then I cut open the oranges and I cut out one slice and I squeeze it like I'm seasoning the frog a little bit, and then I throw it down in there, and the fire bursts open a little more as I'm just chanting this whole time.
What's your chant?
Umo gwe gwe.
Uma gwe gwe.
Ooh.
The vision of this skull on a pedestal comes up out of the fire. It looks like it's physically there, and it slowly rotates so you can analyze it and see everything about it. Really, all you get out of it, you could see this skull on a pedestal rotating in front of you.
So I recognize this as a skull of Balthazar.
Oh yeah, the power radiating from it is unmistakable. Like this, like your daggers feel like batteries compared to a nuke in terms of power output. This thing is a powerful weapon, to say the least.
So I see it as an object. It's not like looking around and trying to be all undead and shit.
Do what? No. It's by no means animated. You can definitely sense multiple demons and entities and demigods or some shit like that trapped inside of it. There's multiple beings trapped inside of it that power it. As inanimate, it's nothing but a vessel.
I have a sinister smile on my face, and I get like half a chub just waiting to get this power into my hands.
A semi?
Yeah.
Alrighty. And then the vision fades, and the sun is coming up. As the fire dwindles down to embers, you realize you've been staring at this for hours.
I stand up, and I dust myself off since, we're chilling on the dirt here. And I go over and I kind of just, not gently, but not hard, just kind of like tap the side of Rayleigh's helmet with my foot to wake him up. And then I walk over to Perrin, and I do the same thing.
Kick him.
Kick him with the dagger.
And as they're waking up, I am kicking dirt over the fire. Because, we're the only ones that can prevent forest fires.
That's true.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
All right, it's the next morning.
Smokey the Bugbear comes out.
Smokey the Bugbear. Somebody Google that. See if it's a real thing.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, what would you guys like to do? Are we going to have any conversations or walk around quietly and mysteriously?
I will also tell Azar about the vision I had, since I had told
Relay.
As he's describing the vision to me, I not cut him off, but I keep going with his description, just showing that I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, like the skull on the pedestal thing.
Oh no, I meant with describing the rest of that vision, but that's a good idea. I should totally tell him about that. Last night while we were having visions, I performed a ritual to extrapolate on those visions, and I believe I know exactly what the skulls look like.
Paladine told you what the skulls look like?
No. This is my power, not the gods.
All powers come from the gods.
Your powers come from the gods. My power comes. Don't worry about where my power comes from.
Paladine surely works in mysterious ways.
I laugh like that in game too.
That's a beautiful twist.
I smile warmly at the comedian. No, I'm just kidding. Close. Yeah, probably. It's a pretty good god. That's Malcor.
All right, Jacob, you were going to describe your skull to him so that you could all be on the same page.
I go into great detail about the eye on the forehead and the bejeweled, bedazzled chrome dome eyes.
Chrome dome.
Did you send him the picture? Is that what you did?
No, you got.
Oh, shit.
It's got different picture. Azar's skull, as he describes it to you, it has a very distinct eye in the middle of the head, and it has jewels set into the eyes, and it sits on a pedestal. And gold inlays lay all over the dome of the skull, and the face is unmarred. And Perrin, you can't help but notice that this does not match your description.
That does not sound like my skull. My skull, the vision I saw that the good Lord sent to me, was a skull that looks like it's wearing a crown made of jewels, and also a beard made of jewels. Lots of jewels.
Yeah, he describes it just like that.
Beard made of jewels?
I love it.
It's an old, ancient, out of style now, but they used to wear jewel beards back in the day.
You sounded so serious. It was common among the women.
Yeah, skull. It looks like it's wearing a crown of gold and jewels and diamonds with a big emerald right in the middle.
That's not what I saw.
I look a little confused as I look back and forth between them and wait for Rayleigh's description.
He describes the skull with the wings coming out the side and the mushrooms from the top, in the cave entrance, and the eye protruding from the forehead, and the vomiting lava coming out of his mouth down into the ground, into the cave entrance to where the into the swamp where the temple of the Forbidden is.
As he's describing that, I have like a look of realization or clarity wash over me, and then I look into Perrin's mind and see if I can see what the skull looks like.
All right. Everybody's daily spells, by the way, reset, and your charge spells reset. Jacob, detect thought as a charge spell, so you'd have to check it off if you want to use it. I was letting you do it last night because
for you initially learned to the surface thoughts. It says for free. And then
for free, as in it doesn't cost to roll, is what I meant. It's bad wording on my part.
Gotcha. Okay, then
to initiate it.
So my charge spells, I need to have checks in them or have them empty?
Yeah, you check it.
All right, well, then I'm going to check it, and I'm going to look into his mind.
All right, then. You're looking into whose mind? Perrin's?
Perrin's, yeah, to see his...
His mind is all full of fuck right now.
I see an image of a Chinese man, and I'm very confused.
There was no jewel beards.
Guys, I think these skulls are the skulls of Chinese men.
So, as Perrin, you're trying to describe the skull to him. I will go ahead and let Azar see the picture.
Sweet. Oh yeah, that's a classic jewel beard.
Right?
I want to see it.
It's a jeweled chin strap for his jewel helmet.
I I look at the images in their minds, and I let them know. All right, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, like 100% right now. I can totally see into your minds. Rayleigh, I saw the skull that you described in your dreams while you slept last night. And Perrin, when I realized the skulls were different, I looked into your mind and saw yours. And I'm starting to think these are the skulls we have to find specifically for ourselves.
Well, what's the similarity between them?
Well,
they're all personalized to us?
I'm thinking so. Rayleigh, you are...
It doesn't make any sense because there's only 13 scrolls and there's a whole bunch of people out there trying to get them.
Perhaps we're chosen. Maybe Carl Fatman never had a chance.
Maybe there's only Maybe there's only one that we can grab.
What did you see in your vision, Azir?
I described my skull again with the eye in the middle.
That's what I saw. What did you see when you looked in the flames of the fire? You didn't see anything, did you? Oh, you saw dead gnolls.
Oh, jeez. Everything's all bright now. I see everything.
Brightness.
It's the morning.
It's the
morning.
burns.
You don't need your torches anymore.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Relay's starting to determine the true nature. And he kind of turns to Perrin and says, I don't think this man has been chosen for a skull.
Oh, I think Paladine will provide.
Will provide? Yeah, at what cost?
I think...
You see what he did to Carl?
You don't know that he did that to Carl.
Oh, I don't know that he did that to Carl? Okay.
You were back around the corner.
Yeah.
You were back around the corner. Azar ran around, did that, and then pulled Perrin back.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking really good right now.
Yeah. You're not looking...
So technically, it does look good in that state. I mean, he pulled him back, and Carl Fatman ran off for some reason. I mean, there's no way you can determine directly that he feared him.
What the frame of mind that Relay's at here is Azar's just announced to us that he can read into our minds. And he has not described any sort of different skull. Perrin described a skull that was totally different.
I described the skull. That was like what I did first. And then what Joe was saying about the inlays and the gold and all that was more detail about it.
Right, but you described a skull that was exactly like what Relay was seeing.
I thought you were seeing this trippy LSD mushroom one.
Yeah.
They both have eyes in the middle of their head. And that's what
but they're not bejeweled and all that. Like one's a trippy LSD mushroom thing and the other one's jeweled.
Right, but you didn't see a third one. You only saw what you saw in our minds.
All right, I lean down into the dirt with my daggers and I draw 3 different skulls. And I keep pointing to my skull over and over again. Like, you see that these two are different?
Relay doesn't trust him.
Basically, what he's getting at is because Relay's seeing his skull as a tripified version of your skull as ours, so he thinks you'll need the same skull, more or less.
Oh my god, that's how Relay sees everybody just all the
time. Let's say, you announcing that you could read his thoughts is not going to help his paranoia.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's paranoid android.
So he's totally going crazy now because he believes that Azar is not the chosen, that only Perrin and Relay are the ones that have truly seen a vision of the skulls that have been given to him, and so that Azar is now baggage.
Well, then I roll a negotiate check on you, and I'm like, dude, it's cool.
Negotiation check.
You can absolutely do that, but you got to put more into it than dude. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then Relay, you have to decide to what degree you want to counter his talking to you.
Well, yeah, he's trying. Relay is trying to determine the true motivations of Azar towards Relay. And so now that he's sitting here saying that he can read in his minds, and he's described a skull that's very similar to the skull that he saw in his mind, and also that he did, I don't think, did Azar ask him to explain it to him?
You did describe your vision. You described it to a degree.
Okay.
But then he also did say that he could read your mind. So that is on the table.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So there's things here that aren't connecting up. So.
Actually, instead of doing a negotiation check, I'm going to suggest that we keep moving forward. It's daylight, and there are hundreds and hundreds of other people searching for these skulls. And if Rayleigh's worried about there being only 2 skulls, then that's even less skulls.
Yeah. Well, and Relay's going to turn to him and go, "You're exactly right. We should move on." And he kind of gestures between Relay and Perrin, and then kind of, tilts his chin off to the other direction, like, "And you should go that way."
Or perhaps I'll find all the skulls then.
Gentlemen, I think we have a better chance of finding the skulls if we work together.
I would.
Yeah, you have the motivation of developing a stronger bond with Jacob, sir.
It's not working.
Well, with the team, because me and Perrin are a team. We're coming fight over Perrin now.
All right.
Relay's going to turn to Perrin and say, "He hasn't seen a vision of the skulls. You saw a vision of the skulls. You told me about it. Yours was totally different than what I saw. So that means there's 2 skulls out there for us. And then all he's going to do is get in the way of getting our skulls and getting us out of here."
That's making a lot of assumptions about these visions of the skulls. I think just because we saw it differently doesn't necessarily mean we can't all get one. It could just be how we're perceiving them. Paladine works in mysterious ways.
Perrin saw 13?
Yeah, his vision expanded as
he was
talking
together.
Yeah, there's 13 skulls on 13 pedestals arranged in a circle around a spiral sigil on the ground.
In that vision,
I feel like I would have said that. I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry. I thought, that's my bad.
No, you were focusing on the 1 skull, so it's fine.
Yeah, in that vision I had that of the 13, was I able to see them in detail enough to see if the ones that we were describing were on that pedestal? If they looked differently from each other?
You didn't see any that looked like a hallucination on a pedestal, but you could. I mean, it was sort of a fleeting vision, and imagine it started on your skull and zoomed out so you could see the whole room. So as you looked around at the others, they're all similar, not quite the same. Skulls in some way bedazzled. Yeah. So you could assume that Jacob's was there, or that Azar's there, though you didn't look at it in detail to analyze it to that degree. You just know there's 13 bejeweled skulls on 13 pedestals at the bottom of a temple somewhere.
So I'll kind of relay that the skulls are there and they do look different. So there should be a skull for all of us, hopefully.
Do you know where this cave is, Perrin?
I don't, but Relay said it was in a swamp, I think.
Yes.
I pull out the map of Valuna I have, kind of like close enough where everyone else can look at it too if they want. And I look around for swamps on there. I'm not seeing any swamps in this area.
Ooh.
Kind of.
So I'm thinking we're probably going to have to fucking go for a walk here.
Oh, you have a map? Nice.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, I think, us working together is the best ways for us to find the skulls. And then we can all work together to kill the Lich and save all the innocents, right? Right?
Yeah.
Are we like totally in a different part of the country now?
You're not seeing your town, are you?
No, I'm not. Where did Azar get the map from?
Azar, where did you get the map?
You what?
Meta. I started with this map.
Oh,
Non-meta.
okay.
I got it from the library in the Magic City of Valuna. I found it in this old grimoire, and I hold up my book, and then I quickly put it back into my robes.
Okay.
Would we recognize any of these?
Yeah.
Everybody just give me a lore check. You don't have to spend any points on it. This is just an idea to see who does the best.
I'm trying to think. I didn't come up with exactly where I was from because I don't know. I didn't.
Right, which is.
Oh my god.
Well, you can come up with exactly where you're from, and it's nowhere on this map.
Yeah. I have never seen any of these cities before in my life.
You would have come from the far west or south or something like that. MJ rolled. Jacob, roll.
Oh.
Roll your lore, just flat.
Flat lore.
All right. Let's see. MJ also rolled a 5. Mm-hmm. So y'all are tied in your understanding. And it dawns on you as you look at this map, you guys have probably been eating Dapplewood oranges.
Dapplewood, I knew it.
Well, there's 3
strange
Dapplewoods.
tastes.
Exactly. But you think you're eating Dapplewood oranges.
Oh, wait. No. Realization, we just came off of a mountain in the Dapplewood area. So we're probably very near the Clan Rockhammer area?
Yeah, the southwest Dapplewood. Yeah.
So then I'm saying all of this in character. So then we're pretty close to Wayberry still.
Where's Wayberry?
You can't see it on the map, but it's on the opposite side of the Dapplewood on the Lort Mill Mountains.
Oh, the other side.
Just under the map where you can't see.
So is the Lort Mill Mountains like to the south there? Is that where the fog was rolling off of?
Yes.
Yeah, it was rolling down towards us.
Yeah, so we're on the other side of the mountains.
Well, then why are we staying here? Why don't we just get up and go across the mountains and go back home?
Yeah, let's go back up the mountains where the lich is without the skulls.
If we don't get the skulls, we're all going to die, and all those innocent people will die, too.
That's fine by me.
Well, incidentally, if you get the skulls, all the other innocent people do die. That's sort of the caveat with the skulls. Only the people who hold the skull live when they return.
I'm sensing martyrdom from Perrin.
I've got a plan for that. I'm working on it.
Okay, just making sure we're clear.
He just keeps saying Paladin works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, but Relay kind of checks himself over and says, I don't have anything that's going to kill me. How is this lich going to kill me if I just pick up and just run away right now?
That's your prerogative, but seeing as he wiped out an entire city in fog and then had hundreds of people in his thing and then magically transported us,
also,
I believe that the lich is going to kill us.
Joe, didn't you say the lich marked us? Like we have a physical mark on us?
That sounds cool. What does your physical mark look like?
I don't know. I thought you said you had one. I thought you were like it was on our wrist or hands or something like that.
Yeah, a brand of the lich's symbol or something.
Yeah.
There's a brand in the palm of your hand that is caricature, like a pictograph of a skull.
Oh, and we all have it and it all looks the same, or does it look like the skulls we saw in the vision?
Super simplified.
Oh.
Very simplified skull.
I think the lich's kids doodled in their sleep.
Pictogram. Yeah.
Okay, well then I open my palm and I take off my fingerless gloves and I show my little skull tattoo to everyone else. I'm like, look, dude, or look, Rayleigh. We all were marked by the lich. I'm pretty sure this is real. I didn't have any tattoos before this.
I was born with this mark.
Relay, you're wearing gloves, but if you were to remove your gloves,
Yeah.
I literally
you would see
said
that you're
it's
marked.
Okay.
That would be interesting if Rayleigh had it from birth, because
Yeah,
then what if
right?
we all had it from
Could be.
birth?
Rebirth, really? Or are you just bullshitting?
I threw it out there for meta. But that goes for you to confirm, though, if you like it, Both.
Maintain whatever you like, and we'll figure it out later. I have to think on this.
Okay.
I reach down behind me in kind of the brush area, and I pull out a piece of Carl Fatman that's scattered over it, and it says hand, and I show him the mark on Carl Fatman's hand.
Oh, Carl Fatman's corpse hand does indeed have a skull.
It's got the mark on
A
it.
pictogram.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, it is a marking, but if we get millions of miles away from here, what's he going to do? It's not
summon a giant tentacle monster to come get us again.
I can run this time.
Azar, you could explain to him that curses are often inlaid in people through some sort of mark, so he's carrying the magic around with him. There's not much you can do.
Okay, I explained that just like that.
Okay. He's like coming from the guy that can read our minds.
I look to Perrin, and I kind of like open my hands. Well, I open one hand, and then Carl Fatman's hand opens as my other hand. And I'm like, Perrin, help me here.
Except it's two left hands. It's two left hands, so it looks awkward.
Your thumbs are pointing the wrong way.
I'm like, Perrin, you gotta help me. I got two left hands here.
That's amazing.
Fine. So Relay kind of comes to the notion like, okay, maybe just running off won't work.
I suggest I pull out the map again, and I'm going to suggest that we at least make our way to either Valkorl or Devarnish and get our bearings, and maybe a good night's rest, not on the ground.
Where is the closest swamp?
I squint at the map.
There's no way for you to determine that from this map because there's no map apparent. Now, Azar, incidentally, you would know that Devarnish housed a rather large temple complex to Pelor, and also has a nice sized library and a university, a couple of things that you could potentially work with in terms of
which city is
figuring things out.
I pull out my map so everyone can see it. I don't know if you want to share that with them or not, Joe. Even if
it's already been shared.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we can see
I point to Devarnish on my map as I'm holding it between the three of us, and I say, "This is Devarnish. It's a moderately, large city, and it has a library with a lot of history of the surrounding land. We might be able to find something about a swamp there. And Perrin, there's a temple there to Pelor Paladine. So
I'm so glad you hear you want to go to the Temple of Paladine.
Well, I think maybe you might be able to talk to your god and figure something out here.
Oh, he's not just my god, my friend. He's all of our god.
And I'm just like, oh, your god. I just like put my hand.
I think that's a great idea. We should head to the city and try to get more information.
Voth, I don't think you understand Mormons very well.
It's not what are the ones who believe there's a limited number? Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mormons believe in the Elohim and all that stuff, but they still try to convert the hell out of everybody. It's fun.
I remember I had Jehovah's Witness come to our old house on fucking Alhambra, and like they would come every single day and just ask me if I like thought about it, or if I was like really actually thinking about it. And then they're like trying to test me on their pamphlet. I was like, so what did it say on page 4? I don't know. I didn't read your pamphlet, dude. I'm not doing this.
Man, those are some devoted folks.
Yeah, it was like this dude and his wife.
Well, they are. If they don't proselyte, they actually don't. They don't have good standing within their church. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They're devoted.
Yep.
Like 10 years ago.
Devout.
I woke up at like noon to a knock on the door, and I went and opened the door, and it was I think it was a Mormon, but they were, there to talk to me, and I was just in like my boxers, and then I'm talking to this guy for like 20 minutes, and he's trying to like convert me and everything, and I'm just standing there in my boxers like half asleep. I was like, this is awkward.
Well, if he's a Mormon, he's probably really excited about underwear, because I'm pretty sure they have magical underwear.
They do have special
He's like, oh my god, this guy's can't wait to hear about our fucking magical underwear.
No, if they
I
were,
see you're wearing underwear. Have you heard about our magical underwear?
if they were, there would have been 2 of them, and they would have been white shirts with black tags.
Yeah, and they would ride bicycles.
Yep.
All right, so back into game. That was a nice deviation. We learned a lot about Mormons.
We're all just standing around a campfire joking about Mormons.
All right, so do you guys wish to attempt to find your way to Devarnish?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right. You guys would head north out of the Dapplewood as you've determined that you're in the part of the Dapplewood that butts up to some mountains. You eventually emerge from the edge, the forest, and you're looking out over a large walled city that's at least several miles. You'll get there within a day, no problem, but it's still several miles off, and you see the city of Devarnish. Unmistakable, jutting up out of the countryside.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
I
All right.
point my finger forward and I'm like, onward! But it's Carl Fatman's finger.
Yeah, because I don't.
Carl Fatman stays with the party.
I'm going to write that into my inventory now. Hand of Carl
Go
Fatman.
ahead. Carl Fatman's hand.
Oh, man.
He's
like totally making a comeback as like a zombie. If you make me kill zombie Carl Fat Man, I'm going to be... Oh.
He's going to be our cousin It, or whatever the handle is called.
All right. If you guys look at the bottom map, the black, you guys, you're entering from the southeast, basically.
We went around the city?
No, you guys were coming up from this direction from the mountains.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
I think the picture had it coming like this.
Yeah,
so we'll have you.
Yeah.
I'll have you coming in from this thing. The little picture, the little map that Jacob has doesn't quite match the big map, so I had you guys coming in from a different spot. But it's close enough. Dapplewood, Devarnish.
Yeah, I get you.
This is where you came out of the forest. You make your way over, and you you approach the gates here. Now, as you're walking up to the city, unmistakable procession of Paladin or Pelor or however you want to call them. They're wearing the blue cloaks, and their little flags are emblazoned with his sign, which is like a sun or something of that nature. And they're marching into the city. And as you guys approach the city, you notice that it's well-furnished and maintained city of some wealth. So it's by no means hurting. The lowest class seems to be well-fed and clothed. Strange tension hangs in the air as you guys approach the city gates.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow, we're actually close to the Library of Knowledge right there. It's like right there.
Let's go.
As you guys walk along behind the procession, oops, there we go. You guys walk along behind the procession. You also are behind a merchant or two, and they have to stop and exchange papers with the guard. They're talking at a normal tone to each other, so it's hard to hear over the hustle and bustle of the city. And unless you guys want to do something else, it'll be your turn to talk to the guard.
No, Relay's not talking with the guard.
It's the city guard, not anything to do with the procession, right? Of Pelor.
No, it's the Devarnish city guard.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
He goes, welcome to Devarnish. What is your business here in the city?
We seek the Temple of Pelor, as well as the library.
Well, very well. So you guys are not citizens of Devarnish, then?
We are not. We've heard wonderful things about the city, though.
He goes, oh, well, I appreciate that. I will have to award you guys 3-day passes for the city. If you wish to extend your stay, you'll have to stop by the Office of Administrations within the city and get it extended.
3 days should be plenty. We appreciate the hospitality.
Very well. He takes out a ledger and he says, and your name is?
Perrin Brightblade.
Perrin Brightblade.
I like
He
that
takes down the notes and he says, and where are you from, Perrin Brightblade?
I am from City X up north. What's a good name for a city? Is there like a city on the map that would be just like a moderate-sized city that would have a small lord of some sort?
Yeah, definitely. You could, if you want to be from the Grand March area where Wayberry was, there's Hook Hill, and there's also PA. And then if you, okay, Hook Hill. You're from Hook Hill, which had, if you remember correctly from the stuff, Hook Hill was a sprawling bureaucratic state or city-state with high taxes and stuff. So it's not the happiest place on the planet.
Yeah, and I'll use my family name, and I don't know if they'll recognize it or not, but I would imagine some people would recognize that my family. I don't know if they'll know that they're like evil, but they're not good people.
What's your family name?
God, I'm so
Blackblade.
Blackblade. yeah, it's Blackblade, and I changed it when I became good.
To Brightblade.
Go shut the door. He doesn't like show any degree of like knowing of the Blackblades. Oh dear, he's just like taking down the information, and then he awards you a pass, a 3-day pass. It gives you, the time at which you'll be expected to be out of the city by, and so on and so forth. And entry into the city. Who's next?
Has there been any strange occurrences lately? Has any of the population gone missing or had strange dreams by chance?
Well, sir, you have to understand we have a very large city here. It is hard to keep tabs of that nature, and we have a bit of city currently. This is why we're keeping track of comings and goings. We have some, how would you say, unruly people who are interested in changing the way things are here.
Changing what exactly?
Well, to be quite frank, sir, they're perhaps atheists. They no longer believe in Pelor and the hierarchy of the city, and they wish to rearrange it. And I'm not entirely sure what you would call them necessarily. They follow the philosophy of Erilthnevics. I don't really speak to them much. They're not my type.
When you tell Perrin that people are no longer following Paladine, he kind of makes whatever the equivalent of the sign of the cross is, and kind of, I'll pray for their souls that they find their way back to the one true God.
It's a 42-pointed cross, so it's a really long crossing cross.
There's a lot of
crossing
back and forth.
Wrong step. Start over.
Yeah, Pelor's sign is like a sun on a cross or some crap like that, so it's got a lot of points.
So he praises the sun like in Dark Souls.
Basically, yes. He tells you that and he says, "Oh, one more thing. The Erythnovics, you could tell them apart by the red band that they wear on their forearm or on their bicep. I mean,
red.
They got them marked,
like a SS officer having the red band on their arm.
Sort of. I wouldn't necessarily say SS officer to that degree. It's more like they tied a handkerchief around their arm. Yes, a red band marking who they are to show solidarity, so to speak. But
so they're doing it to themselves. It's not like a concentration camp marking a Jew thing.
Absolutely not. They're marking themselves to show solidarity, and they're trying to do whatever people do when they do that crap. All right, I will be right back. The kids are in there fighting, and I'm going to tell them to cut it out.
Pelor got a shave. The fucking
over the top crazy move,
right?
All right, I'm back.
Joe, you gotta look at Perrin's way of doing the sign of the cross for Pelor.
All right. Yeah, Lulu bad. Shut the door. The 2-year-old and the 5-year-old are not getting along. This is taking forever to load.
Oh,
their connection is crap.
Oh, don't waste your internet on it.
Yeah, I'll look at it later. All right. So who's next in line to enter the city?
That's the
Lulu.
name of
That's
Lulu.
the way she says her brother's name.
Okay.
Lucian. She just takes the first syllable Lu and repeats it twice. Lulu.
That's going to be a villain we run into later. Lulu
Exactly.
bad.
All right.
Lulu Bad, the street thug of Devarnish.
Rayleigh, as you sit there and try to look the least bit conspicuous or inconspicuous, the guard comes over to you and he says, "Sir, what is your business in Devarnish today?"
Who does he talk to? Me?
Relay.
Oh. All right, he's AFK.
Oh, you went AFK? Oh, crap. Natasha, shut the door.
Natasha.
So, while we wait for MJ to get back. I was I'm reading Demons by Fyodor Dostoevsky, so it has a lot of Russian culture in it, like old fashioned, and I'm sort of. It took me a while to learn their naming system and the way they break things down. And for instance, when you refer to someone in sort of like loving way or like friendly way, for instance, like my name technically is Joseph or Joe, but like, you know, my wife might call me Joey, which she doesn't because I'd be totally irritated. But like my mother might call me Joey when I was little, which they did a little bit. But it's sort of that, you know, it's like Jacob, for instance, you could call him Jakey or something silly. Like adding the E on gives it that tonality of sort of love to it. And apparently adding Asha or Rusha on the end of a name makes it sort of diminutive and loving. So like it took me a while to realize that Pyotr and Petrusha were the same person. Who the fuck is this? You know, and then I realized it's his father referring to, you know, like his son Petrusha. And then also Natasha is like the diminutive loving version of like Natalia or something like that. So I named my child a diminutive Russian name. So one day she'll grow up and we'll have to start calling her something else.
Let's call her Nat.
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 Man, MJ's taking forever.
Yeah, it's probably having to drop a morning deuce or something.
Or maybe something work related.
Possibly.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah.
Because he technically is working.
I love that he plays this while he's working.
Yeah. The perks of being self-employed.
Yeah, right.
Hey, there he is.
Self-employed.
Welcome back, MJ.
Yes.
Going basically,
what is this?
When I realized you were AFK, I had asked you that, you know, the guard had come over and said, "Excuse me, sir, and what is your purpose for entering Devarnish today?"
It says I'm with them. I'm going to the temple.
Of course. I will need to take down your name. Your name, sir?
And he's kind of looking left and right at both Azir and Perrin. My name is Robert. Robert Jordan.
Robert Jordan.
I'm gonna be that. Oh, you guys are gonna hate Perrin. That's not your name.
That's not your name.
Fucking Chekhov's paladin.
That's right.
I'll go. Sorry, he's a little nervous. This is our friend Relay.
He kind of looks over at Perrin like, you dick.
The good people of Devarnish are granting us access to their city. The least you can do is be honest with them.
Relay, do you have a last name, a surname of any type, sir?
I hate Perrin already.
I love Perrin.
Yes, I love him. / he's really annoying.
He's going to get drunk and jump in some helicopter. I just know it.
Master Relay, do you have a surname of any sort? Last name, a middle name, anything to help?
He's kind of looking over at Perrin. He's like, I don't know.
Okay. Tell you what, I cannot give you access to the city unless you're under somebody else's supervision. So I can give you access, but we're going to have to make this gentleman, and he points to Perrin, your keeper.
I would definitely vouch for Relay. He's an odd duck, but he's a good man.
My name's Robert.
He writes out the 3-day pass and hands it to Perrin, and he says, "Very well, sir, but your friend's actions will be measured against yours, so do keep him in line."
Well, that didn't take long
up and down.
That didn't take long at all for karma to get back to me.
Karma is such a wonderful thing.
Instant.
And lastly, he turns to Azar, and he says, well, he doesn't know your name. He says, "Your name, sir?"
I kind of say it muffled where Perrin can't hear me. And I say, "Kevin."
I feel like I should roll a notice check.
Kevin.
Well, the guard says very loudly, very clearly, "Kevin what?"
Kevin, what is going on with you two today? That's Azar.
No, I turn and look at Perrin like in full disclosure. That's just a stage name. I wanted to sound cool. My name is Kevin Kevinson.
Kevin Kevinson?
Kevin Kevinson. You can see why I changed my name.
He raises an eyebrow. Obstacle to deceive. Obstacle to deceive to successfully convince him that you're Kevin Kevinson.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Is he trying? Oh my gosh!
No, he got it.
All right,
he got it.
Deceiving me or the guard, or both?
In that moment, he gives a convincing story that his name is actually Kevin Kevinson. So all of you would technically be convinced. You're welcome to try to do some sort of roll to analyze further and beat his obstacle 2 that he succeeded in and see through his lie. But for the most part, everyone believes that his name is Kevin Kevinson. And
I'm a pretty
the guard goes,
guy, so.
Kevin, nice to meet you.
The guard is like, "Oh, Kevinson, I believe that's a surname from far north. Are you you're from the north then?"
Yeah, like way up there, like north of the north. Just up there.
All right, well, I'm going to have to record your city of origin, sir. Of course. Where are you from?
Hornhill. I know that's not north, but I was an orphan.
Hornhill?
Yeah.
Well, he's just going to roll with Hornhill because you've already convinced him. So he's like, "Hornhill, okay. Thank you. Well, welcome to Devarnish." And he writes you out a 3-day pass. And he says, he turns to Perrin specifically and he says, "And keep him in line. Enjoy y'all's stay."
I snap my fingers and point at him as I kind of like wink and just like keep moving on. Like, gotcha.
You hear him turn towards his
manifest right now.
And he's like, "Kevin Kevinson? What a weird name."
I'm just surprised they didn't notice the fingerless gloves.
I'm sure they took note of it.
Right, the guy behind him was like literally noting it down as he quirked a brow at the gloves. This guy's clearly
Kevin Kevinson of the fingerless gloves.
That sounds like Mark and the Funky Punch.
The fingerless gloves.
God damn it, I almost spit water all over my computer. Thank you.
At that moment, the gods purge into Relay, and the skies begin to darken, and lightning begins striking around the area that they're all at.
This is a vision that Relay is having in his head.
Okay. Kevin. There is a Kevin.
That's a real
Kevinson.
There's really a Kevin Kevinson story.
Jesus Christ! Even
Holy shit!
And you're from Horn Hill. It's the Hill Brothers.
That's like a biography.
Oh, that's awesome. The fingerless gloves.
That book is the grimoire that I've been carrying around this whole time.
Really, you're a black man.
You're a rugby player.
Yeah, that's a rugby ball.
Oh, it's fucking funny.
All right.
Okay.
So, relay while you sort of sit there and channel stuff, and you get these visions of it, but then you sort of snap out of it and realize your mind is in a heightened state of hallucination from your dreams. Yeah, I guess. Okay. So you realize it's not manifesting. So for a moment you're like, oh shit, not now, and then you're like, oh wait, it's not.
Yeah. It's only in my mind.
And you guys would notice Relay staring at the sky and sort of like this, oh no face, and then it goes blank like, okay.
I like that.
I look at Relay and I'm kind of like, I look up when he freaks out, but then nothing's there. So I go back to looking at the board that like shows the city layout, like the map, like in a mall. It's like, here, we're here. I look at one of those and I find out where the Library of Knowledge is.
All right, you see the Library of Knowledge. It leads, it's just down this busy street. Would you guys like to go there?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. You head to the Library of Knowledge. It is a large, distinct architecture. There's a large carven book statue out front that lays revealed before you, and there's like a dragon perched on top of the book reading it, and the words emblazoned below the statue are the bookworm. And
I like that.
Spelled W-I-R-M.
The bookworm.
And then you it's like the doors are propped open, very large double doors are open with attendants standing inside, and one of them says, welcome to the Library of Knowledge, and then they usher you in.
I'm looking around in awe, and I'm just like so happy. I love libraries. I don't know if I'm telling this to everybody. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but Kevin Kevinson loves libraries. Also, I talk about this now.
Well, he's got his own book too,
Yeah,
it's a rugby book.
Right.
We find the book on the shelf.
All right. Well, one of the attendants walks over and says, "Is there something that I could help you find today, sirs?"
I'm gonna let Kevin.
It's a younger, attractive woman with glasses, the very sexy librarian type.
I'm playing with my goatee as I'm thinking about what I'm looking for, and I'm like, do you have maps of the surrounding areas that date back pretty far, have detail?
Absolutely, sir. Right this way. She walks towards like the center of the library, and there's this gigantic atlas, and she presents it to you, and it's like on a pedestal. It's like too big to carry type of giant atlas. And she says, we have many different maps kept here in this. Would you like to look through it?
Yes, thank you. And I proceed to look through all the maps, and I'm looking for anything titled swamp, that swamp, famous swamp. Hey, dude, this is a swamp over here. Swamps, and swamps. I look for anything.
Swamps.
Hey, dude, there's a swamp over here.
That's a big
dude. Where's my swamp?
Oh, there we are. Well, that
that's
sounds.
Here's
Oh, they
where
were
you
down
guys are. In Devarnish, and you have a map in front of you that depicts all the lands.
I sprawl it out on the table under like candlelight for us to, or whatever kind of lights we got to look around and like so everyone could see it.
Relay, seeing the world is so vast. Connection to the server has been interrupted. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Relays. Oh, that's the Roll20 thing. Relay takes a moment and it's like, I could run for it. He contemplates running and taking off again. Not quite
So
sure
many
about the
places
little
to
mark
go.
on his hand. The world is so vast. How could they ever stop me?
I love that this place is just called Jeff.
That's where you come from. You're from Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where that's me.
Oh, Hornhill, that's right.
Hook Hill.
I meant Hook Hill. That's what I was talking about when I said Hornhill. I thought it was called Hornhill.
If I start dying, guys, it's because my internet's going out, I think.
Yeah, we can hear it kind of
All right.
in your voice.
It's certainly a little sketchy, but we'll persevere for now. If you drop, we'll probably have to pause. You guys are in Devarnish, and you have this big map before you.
I'm looking for swamps. Just everywhere. I'm like scanning and just like further and further. Just looking for swamps.
Well, you have eyes, and you have a mouse with which to scroll around.
Yeah, I am.
So look for swamps.
While I'm looking around, kind of in my own world, trying to find swamps, I don't know what's going on around me, so other people could be doing stuff while I'm looking.
All right. Perrin, Relay seems to have gone into a deep daze of sorts, checked out in his own mind. What would you like to do while Azar evaluates this map?
Oh,
You there, Matt?
Am I
Hello?
breaking up now?
No, you're fine. I can hear you. I think we're losing Matt.
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah. we
Yep,
can-
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you were breaking
Yeah, I
out
can
for
hear
me
you now.
for a second there. I didn't catch any of that.
Hey,
Yeah, the
Saying
The
is,
Hangout.
what would you? While Azar looks at the map.
While Kevin's looking at the map, I will look for books on Pelor. Maybe.
All right. Well, I mean, there's plenty of books on Pellar. Give me more specifically what you're trying to find.
I guess books that would I could read to learn to enhance my holy powers, if that makes sense. Like spell books aren't the right thing, but maybe
your core meta motivation to learn a new spell? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, kind of it's my main goal is to I'm still relatively new to religion. Yeah. So I'm just trying to learn as much as possible. Maybe like history of other great paladins and things that I can do to try to protect the people.
All right.
I don't know if that's very helpful.
Give me an idea of what type of spell you're interested in finding, and like what kind of thing would you like to be able to manifest?
Here's a good one. How to turn undead, or I mean anything in this case that would relate to liches and how the church or paladins deal with liches.
All right. You do find a book that does discuss the turning of undead and how to smite a lich. It basically tells that if you can channel the divine power of Pelor directly into the lich's phylactery, you could destroy its soul in this life and the next, which would prevent it from ever returning to life. You know the basic knowledge of how to destroy the lich. Finding the phylactery is obviously the hard part here. As far as what spell to use, it would basically be like using Divine Smite on it. You strike it with your sword and channel the Divine Smite into the phylactery, and you'll destroy its soul.
Okay, so smite the soul.
Correct. The phylactery is where it's at.
The phylactery. And then I guess other books just on liches and lich history, like if I can find any hints to this specific lich that we're dealing with.
I guess you would give me an idea of the search parameters, because I mean that's like saying give me an idea of this mat I'm looking for. You know, it's like there's a billion mats in the
As
US.
Azar's looking at the map, he casually says to Perrin, you should look up the Book of Curses.
Book of Curses?
Yeah. I don't know if Joseph wants to name it something differently, but I came from the Magic City of Aluna, so I know books. Is that Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I came from the Magic City of Aluna, and there's a library there, and so I'm like, I was always in the library reading stuff. So I'm just throwing out Book of Curses as a generic name if Joe wants to change it. But, yeah.
Okay.
The Book of Elemental Evil.
Yeah.
That was first thing when he said, you have to go to a temple. I was like, oh, Temple of Elemental Evil, baby.
Temple of Elemental Evil.
And I'm going to say,
I
really like the bright lands and the bright desert. So I'm going to be from Ulbakak. Ulbak?
Ulbakak. Bakak. I think I'll just be from Stench.
There are some who call me Jeff.
Jeff? The Valley of Mages. In the Valley of the Mage. Ket. I wonder what map this is from.
Yeah, I don't know anything about like the actual campaigns and everything in D&D.
Yeah, me either.
Like there's so many of them.
Yeah, different worlds and everything.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool though.
Yeah, on the map I have versus this map, like Devarnish is over here on my map.
Oh,
and
really?
Like, yeah, this is like Volkrul or something over here, but
is
so
this
there's a little different? But
is this the
world of Greyhawk?
Oh, is this Greyhawk? Okay, I've never adventured in Greyhawk at all.
Because what was the setting we were in for Rise of the Dragons with? That
was 4th edition Nintiri Vale.
Nintiri Vale, yeah. I played a few other games that were set in the Nintiri Vale.
Yeah, we placed that in Faerun, which was Forgotten Realms.
Yeah,
what we did.
And I was looking at just kind of looking at some of those maps, and cause the one I see a lot is Sword Coast, and that was just the west of us.
Yeah, exactly. No, Greyhawk was the very first world in D&D.
Yeah, that's old school, right?
Yeah, it's 1st edition, and actually before that too.
Wow. Yeah. The map we're on right now?
Yep. Wow. Oh, this is the world. So this must be the new 5th edition Greyhawk.
Like the updated?
Yeah. What ones they're building adventures around there somehow.
I wonder.
I know
So
there's still
in
Forgotten Realms.
yeah, I wonder if on this map then I don't know where the hell it would be, but the Temple of Elemental Evil was outside of a little town called Hamlet.
Hamlet, yeah. Where would that be?
I don't know.
That's got to be in Greyhawk, right? Yeah, let me
I
pull
would
up the
think so.
PDF.
I mean, that's one of the oldest settings there is, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Or
Let me
oldest
pull up the
realms.
PDF and see what the first edition says. TSR. Where are you? Modules. It's got to be the T series. I was right. The Temple of Elemental Evil.
It's right next to the Varnish.
Is it really?
Right next to the
Yeah,
Varnish.
like right here.
No way.
No, yeah. If you zoom in, it's east of. Yeah, let's zoom in. It's east of the Iron Hills.
Hamlet is?
It's right. Yeah, Hamlet's like right in here, and Temple of Elemental Evil is over here.
Oh,
That's where we're totally going.
we're totally going to the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yes,
Dude,
totally.
that's what Joe's sitting up. That's what.
Yes.
That's literally what it
Is it? It's really right here.
Yeah. Let me find that image I found.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Googled it.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I never actually. We played. I don't know, probably 6 sessions of that, but we actually never made it to the actual temple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're doing a different route to it.
So we had one of my friends joined late, and he was a paladin, and he, the old school ones, they have to go on like their quest for their family sword and their war horse and everything.
Yeah.
So he ended up on a quest for his war horse, and he ran into a giant troll and ended up like using a spell of control on him, and rode the troll like a horse until the troll died from exhaustion.
Oh God.
Okay, how do you spell Hamlet?
Hommenlet. Yeah, it's just
I sent a picture in the.
it's just like
thing.
southeast of
Yeah, I'll post it up in the chat.
for Bob. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's like right here. That's awesome.
There's no. There's
Well,
no
hopefully we
marshes
just
in
didn't.
this area.
Hopefully we didn't ruin Joe's surprise.
Yeah, who is surprised? We just started talking about it and musing about it, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, there it is.
Right.
No one tell him when he gets back.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah,
looking at the
totally.
map, these patchy areas are the swamps and marshes and stuff. And
Right.
there's none right here, but
Oh,
I mean, they're
the
all over
Mist
the place.
March. Yeah. The Mist March.
The free city of Greyhawk. Is that like the main city?
Yeah, yeah.
So is there a key on here?
I wonder if Joe's coming back.
So what's
Let's see if he's still in the hangout. Yeah, he's still there. He's probably just, beating on kids or something.
YouTube,
So-
we do not condone beating of children.
That's right. You aren't like recording us to Twitch, are you?
No.
dear YouTube?
Yeah.
No, MJ, you're gonna have to put a disclaimer. No children were hurt. In the
No
making of
children
this
were hurt
video.
in the making of this video. Well, at least no children were hurt by the 3 people talking. Let's see.
That's fucking crazy. We're right next to it.
Myth. Oh, and they got the what's the other one there? The big one in Greyhawk 2. They had a video game out of it.
Oh yeah, was that
It's in the Myth Draenor.
what is it called? It's like the Lords of Waterdeep or something like that.
It was a Pool of Radiance.
Pool of Radiance. I don't know that one.
Yep. That was one of the first 3rd edition video games they brought out.
Dude, I played the shit out of Pool of Radiance.
Did you?
Yeah, I played a lot of it actually. That was one of my first RPGs I really got into.
Yeah.
And as far as video games,
computer game?
Yeah,
That was a computer game. It was right after. It's an old school computer game.
really old school.
Yeah, it was right after Baldur's Gate. And then Baldur's Gate was 2nd edition rules adapted to the computer.
And 1988 for Pools of Radiance.
Yes,
Dude.
It was fun.
Man, it was old when I was playing it.
Yeah, it was.
It was fun though. Like I remember playing on GameSpy Arcade.
That is old school.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was fun. The paladins looked like silver samurai or something. It was crazy.
Yeah. You had to go fight a Dracolich.
Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was a short game, but it was fun.
Cool. Did you ever play Did you ever play the Temple of Elemental Evil one too? That was 3rd edition also.
I played that one. I played that one a while later, like after Neverwinter 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
Neverwinter was a fun one, man.
Looks like they made a newer Pool of Radiance video game too.
No, really?
Yeah.
I want to play.
Yeah.
Pool of Radiance. What's it called? Myth of Draenor.
That's the one. That's the video game. Pool of Radiance. Runes of Myth Draenor. Okay, that's the video
that one
game.
was 2001.
Okay, what was the new one called?
Myths of Draenor. The original from '88 looks like it was just called Pools of Radiance, and then the new one was Pools of Radiance, Runes of Myth Draenor.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's the game I was talking about. This 4th edition, the Runes of Myth Draenor. That's still an old game too. Released in 2001.
Looks very Diablo-ish.
Yeah, it was exactly like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Oh man.
Same engine and everything. They just converted it to 3rd edition rules and.
Yeah, I might have to get that.
I didn't know there was a video game before that, a Pool of Radiance.
Yeah, there's like old school 1988.
Old DOS kind of based Pool of I see it now. Yeah.
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
There it is.
I think we debunked your whole story.
Yeah, I think we found it
all out.
Really?
Yeah. And it's cool, so we're going to go ahead and keep moving with it.
Yeah, we realized the Temple of Elemental Evil is right here.
Where? Next to Verbabonk?
Yeah, look
That's
at
hilarious.
the photo I shared. It's a close-up of that area, and it's literally right friggin' there outside of home.
Yep.
Well, just so you know, the map is completely unrelated to the story. I just found a map.
We went into what the map was, and that's how we figured it all out, because this is the Greyhawk map or whatever, like the first one.
Yep, the Greyhawk world.
Exactly. This is the domain of Greyhawk. I just chose a map almost at random, a map I'd never used before, and populated pretty much everything into it. So Devarnish happens to be a city, so I used its city map and things of that nature. But the story itself, I had no idea that the Temple of Elemental Evil was right there.
Yeah, it's literally right there.
Literally like right there. Hamlet's like
no
right
swamp
here.
there. There's no swamp.
Yeah, there's a swamp.
There's a swamp over there, Miss Marsh.
So, did you find the swamp, Jacob?
I mean, I found a bunch of swamps, and I already talked to the group about it. I was like, there's one there, and there's one more east over that way, and south are the nearest ones.
Well, his little limerick named it the Vast Swamp. So, I mean, it could be Mist Marsh. It could be Cool Marshes is really big. So it might be worth
yeah, I'm thinking
researching
Huamarsh
more.
probably. That's the biggest one on the entire map.
Yeah. Oh man, that's like far to travel.
And we're on the wrong side of the mountain.
Yep.
I think we're gonna have to go to like Safeton over here, or even honestly, we could probably just go to. I guess it's not in there. Okay, yeah, probably like Safeton.
Oh, let's
and
go by
sail
sea.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sail around to it.
Let's go by sail the Azure Sea.
No, it's called the Kevin Kevinson Sea.
Yeah. Oh, it's my favorite thing so far.
What? It's not having two left hands.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, I love Azar so much. I think it's funny that I'm like, oh, I love this evil asshole character, and Perrin's like, oh, I fucking hate it.
You're gonna have to name the hand now, Kevin Kevinson. This is Kevin. He's waving the hand back and forth.
Oh man.
Yeah,
all right, so you guys are looking at this map.
Yeah,
and
we were all excited, Voth, there for a second that you were going to take us through the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh shit, we're gonna pass right by it on the way to
safety. Aaron, did you come to a conclusion as to what you were doing? Because I think we got interrupted. I don't recall exactly.
I was just trying to read up on liches and see if there's anything that maybe. I know we only had a brief encounter with them, but maybe like search the symbol that's branded on our hand to see if that's like a specific lich, so we know who we're dealing with.
Absolutely not. A simple pictogram tattoo of a skull is like. I mean, if you've been to a biker's bar.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Or is it some sort of rune, magical rune that just depicts a certain spell or something?
Figure it was a stretch, but never hurts to look.
Azar has suggested to Perrin that he looks for the Book of Curses. And this is a generic name. You can name it whatever you want. But considering I'm from Valuna, the magic city of Valuna, whatever, I really frequented the library all the time. So I was thinking maybe I would know of a book like that, or maybe there's a common one of common curses, and we might be able to figure that out.
Well, how about this? I'll give you guys a freebie. Actually, Jacob and Perrin roll off because you guys have the best chance of knowing this.
Doing lore?
Just a D6. This is just to see who.
Gotcha. Uh-oh.
Because it makes sense for both of you for the most part.
I rolled a 6.
Perrin rolls a 6. And it also makes the most sense because it was in your vision, Perrin. The sigil, the swirling sigil in the middle, it dawns on you that sigil is important. I mean, after all, it is on the splat screen of the game.
Okay. Yeah.
So you could probably possibly cross-reference that.
Yeah.
All right. When you find that sigil, when you look it up, it pertains to an obscure god. He's never named directly. They always give him little monikers that allude to him. The most common one is the chained god, the imprisoned god, or something of that nature. You know, something to signify that he is somehow imprisoned somewhere. And from what you know, he was put in this prison by Pelor. So that's what you can garner from this sigil. Now, there is a lich that is known for to the chained god. You can't figure out his name exactly, but through rumor and what do you call those other things? Allegories and this and that and all kinds of, religious vagaries, you get the impression that he is the son of the chained god and a human. So he is some sort of demigod. Okay, go to the body then, buddy. And
that was one of the gods speaking
Classic.
to Rayleigh's head.
That's posterity right there.
Oh, holy shit. There's
so,
literally a swamp over here called the Vast Swamp.
Oh, is there?
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm like thinking, how am I going to point them towards that? We're going to be wasting all this time going to a cool marsh.
We're going to go into the sea and where's the? I don't see it on the
Where's
map.
the best one?
It's all the way to the east. Like, it's way past the Woolly Bay and on another continent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all the way over here.
Straight east or?
Oh man, yeah, I see it.
Southeast.
Yeah.
It's like this far southeast
Okay, buddy.
you can go, pretty much.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah, he circled it.
Joe circled it. Is that on the map
Actually,
somewhere?
Azar
Oh,
circled
there's,
it on the library map. Wait, is
Holy
that lady
cow.
still here?
No, she left you guys.
All right, I cut out the map of the area and I tuck it in my pocket and I roll up the scroll and put it back.
It's a good thing that Perrin is off reading books.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh shit!
Oh man,
Such
I
a
was
good thing.
I was literally just contemplating if I had to turn you in. Call the guards.
Be like, this motherfucker.
He's got his nose in a very important book right now.
That's so funny. I'm over here
So
like these marshes and these marshes, and Joe's like the vast marsh.
He actually said the word. And we're like, oh, great. It's the biggest one down there.
Yeah. Oh, it must be Hool marshes.
It'll be hula marshes.
Cold
Those are the
marshes.
biggest.
The vast marsh.
I mean, he wouldn't tell us to write out the word, right?
All right. So real quick, back to Perrin, your discovery. It seems that the Lich is tied to the chained god, and it is believed through vagaries and allegories and whatnot that he's possibly a demigod that became a Lich to exist forever with the purpose of freeing his father.
Okay.
All right. Relay, is there anything that you would like to do in this library?
No.
No?
Nope. Nope.
All righty.
Unless let me think for a second. I don't think so, because he's just kind of letting those guys do what they do, and he's still contemplating if he should just take off.
Okay. Let me think for a moment. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would be interesting,
Right.
For Relay.
No, not right now. He's just kind of not wanting to be in the city, and not really into being in the city, and wants to get out and get free of all this nonsense.
You guys have found a good bit of knowledge. Is there anything else you guys would like to do in the city? I know some of you had interest in possibly breaking the curse, I think.
Yeah, I'm hoping to kill the Lich, but I would definitely go to the temple before we leave.
Yeah, you have one that says figure out how to break the curse to save lives.
Yeah, because I want to find the skulls, and less to save my life and more to be able to break the curse so all those innocent people don't die.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, you'd probably have the inspiration of perhaps checking out the temple, because if there's a place to break curses, it would probably be at a vast Pelor complex.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll go back to the other map. Jacob, you have this one tucked away nicely.
Yeah, I recorded it in my bag.
Perrin does not know this. All right, so just for clarity, you want to head to the temple, or do you want to stop off somewhere else while you're in the city?
Besides, I mean, getting some random generic gear, all I really have to do in the city is find the temple.
Okay. Anybody else have any directions, or were we just going to accompany Perrin to the temple?
Yeah. Relay's just along for the ride. He's just moving along.
Before we leave the library, I'd also like to look for any kind of information to boost my abilities, because I'm always trying to get more powerful. Or perhaps read the one in my inventory.
I would say that sort of stuff is best found, but sort of your focus at the moment, your research. You probably stole it from a library somewhere.
What? We broke up in the beginning. All I heard was stole it from a library somewhere.
Oh, I was saying you have, like that book that you have is sort of the focus of your research right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, so, then I said you probably stole it from the library.
Well, then this is what I want to do. Since I'm not into that whole Pelor crud, when we get there, I just choose to sit on a bench and read. Now, I tell the guys, I'll wait here. When y'all are done, we'll head out.
Perfect.
Are you sure you don't want to come in and pray with me?
I'm good. As I kind of hold the book up between us, like I'm really focused on reading.
As you guys make your way up the street, when you turn the corner here and you see the whole square around Pelor's temple, or actually probably right here at this corner. This corner kind of opens up into somewhat of a city square. Okay, and it's a bazaar of sorts. You know, you'll see like a butcher's shop on the side, a bakery, this and that, and it's completely swamped with people. Like it's almost standing room only. It's going to be hard to make your way through this portion of the city. Man.
Oh, I think we're losing Joe.
Middle. God damn it! At a talkie part too.
Yeah. Oh, you're better now.
All right, man, standing in the middle of the large, dense crowd on the back of a flatbed wagon, using it as an impromptu. The people gathered in this large crowd. You see a lot of the red bands wrapped around their biceps. So it would appear that a lot of these are the Arithnovics that the guard spoke of.
Are they all tieflings, or is just that guy?
Tiefling, you might see one or two here. They're a low portion of the populace.
Now that you mention it, like, have I noticed that the city is diverse? Like, is there a lot of different life, like orc and?
Oh yeah, it's a very diverse city. It's a large portion is humans, but you will see the occasional half elf, half orc, tiefling.
What about three-quarters orcs?
Three-quarters orcs would probably not be allowed into the city. They get a little bit too. Now, the man who stands on top of this impromptu stage appears to be leading a chant. As you guys get closer, you hear the crowd chanting along with him. And he says, what do we want? And the crowd responds, justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. And they're all crowded around just chanting along with him. He paces back and forth, basking in the raucous chant before he waves off the chanting crowd so that he can speak. He spreads his arms out to the crowd and speaks of his stomach's voice. And he says, "The gilded lords sit in their high thrones and
talky parts
by a nepotism rating talker." What?
Yeah,
it's cutting out.
Did it?
Like,
Fuck my life.
Right at the good part.
Yeah.
All right. I know. I'm going to
You can type it out. Type out his little
quickly. Well, it's handwritten in my notes. That's the problem.
Do you want
Otherwise,
to
I would cut and paste it.
maybe try deleting all the posts we have on the right there?
Oh, the chat. That's a good idea. Let me see. Where the fuck was that?
clear current
chat log. I found it.
Yeah, we didn't do any GIFs this time, but maybe the pictures are still slowing it down.
Let me see. Just gonna go verify that. Gonna go to my router.
You're sounding better already.
Yeah, you sound good right now if you want to just kind of wing it.
All right, real quick, I'm just going to the traffic manager on my router, and I'm going to take it down really low. So everyone's data usage is based off percentiles. So I will basically be reducing them to almost nothing.
Evan's going to be like, what the fuck?
Do it now.
This animated cartoon porno GIF is going so slow. I'm disappointed.
Dude, I spent time with my waifu. What the hell?
All right. So we'll get back into it. Am I going pretty well right now?
Yeah.
Staying pretty.
Sounds good.
All right. So the tiefling on the back on top of the flatbed wagon, that's his makeshift stage, with the crowd grouped around him, and he's leading them in the chant, "What do we want? Justice. When do we want it now?" And they're all getting very worked up and cheering him, and he waves off the crowds so that they'll go silent so that he can give a bit of a speech. He spreads his arms to the people, and he begins to speak from the bottom of his stomach so that he could project his voice out over them. And he says, "The gilded lords sit in their high thrones enshrined by a culture of nepotism masquerading as meritocracy. Their sycophants bow and scrape, telling him what they want to hear, telling them they deserve to be on top, that they deserve the lion's share of the wealth in this city. Well, my friends, I, Morthos Zygonon, I'm here to tell you that they don't deserve it. They preach equality of opportunity, but in a rigged system, that is bullshit." The crowd begins to roar and cheer him again, and he quiets them so that he can continue. He says, "What we really need, what we deserve, is true equality, an equality of outcome." And he says, "You have nothing to lose but your chains." And the crowd once again erupts in cheers, and everyone like throws their hat into the air, and everyone's cheering. And then the cheers devolve into a chant, and they're screaming out, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, these greedy guilders have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the greedy guilders have got to go."
Azar kind of starts tapping his foot and like grooving a little to the beat.
So Morthos Zygonon is leading groups in cheers and talking about more or less overthrowing the Gilded Lords and saying that they need an equality of outcome versus an equality of opportunity. So read into that what you will. The crowd is raucous and cheering along with them. What would you like to do?
I would feel like I've got bigger fish to fry at the moment.
Yeah, same here. Like, Y'all have fun, Devarnish. We kind of are gonna die if we chill here.
Yeah. I'm kind of along
We
the
need to
lines
find
of
skulls.
that. I want to find the temple, pray, and then we got to find a ship to the vast marshes.
So just out of curiosity, what does Perrin...
Like, down with Pelor. I'm like, oh, fuck, we're fighting him out.
He's like, oh yeah, and by the way, fuck Pelor.
I was really getting ready to yell blasphemy and charge at somebody.
How does the paladin perceive their quest here? The Erithnovics.
He is a little torn. He wants justice and equality, but he was born to a noble family, so he doesn't quite understand the plight of the working man.
And there's also the fact that the city seems well maintained and wealthy, and everyone's well clothed and fed. So it's kind of, strange that they're so worried about these sorts of things.
Yeah, this does more seem like a curiosity to him than a pressing issue.
Yes.
How does Azar perceive it?
I'm more self-enveloped right now. Like I was like tapping along to the beat because it sounded nice, but wasn't really listening to anything they were saying because I'm reading and focusing on getting to the temple so that we can interpret all this stuff.
Very well. Very well. Relay, you're still relatively checked out, or did you have something you wanted to say about it?
He's taking it in, but he is not looking at this anything at all to get involved with. It's too much to direct him from what he's trying to do, which is find school and get free.
Well, that's perfectly acceptable that you guys are uninterested in this. Manage to push through the crowd, and you make your way towards the temple itself. And outside the gates of the temple, there's like a courtyard that's gated, and the gates have been closed to the main temple exit. And there's guards standing there, adorned in Pelor's knot. And there's a small crowd outside of this. And they're actually, you can hear them arguing with the guards through the gate. And as you approach, you hear the red banded Erithnovics. Let me see. The Gilded Lords pay their gold stolen from the common man, and we want it back. So they're basically demanding the tithes. They want the coffers emptied to them that the Gilded Lords have paid into the Temple of Pelor.
Relay's going to turn over to Perrin, kind of fearful that, now we're in it.
I am perturbed by this, and this sounds like a disturbing events are happening here. But my main focus, I really want to save all of these innocent people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of be discouraged, but I'm not going to get involved at the moment.
All right. Well, there's a small crowd of people outside the gates crowding around. What would you like to do? The guards have it shut.
I will politely sneak behind people. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. And make my way to the gates and ask the guards if I can come in and pray.
All right. Azar, God, you got me saying his name wrong now. Azar? Fuck. Which one is it? Azar. Azar. Okay.
It's Kevin Kevinson.
Kevin.
Kevin, what are you going to be doing when you see this small crowd creating ruckus outside of the gates of Pelor?
I'm going to close my book, and I'm going to tuck it into my robes again, and I'm going to just be wary. I don't want crowd. I know crowds can tend to get out of hand and start mobs and shit, and I'm just going to be about myself and ready. I'm also fully aware of this fucking paladin that's going to go crazy at any minute, so I'm like watching him.
Are you following him or staying back, the paladin?
I'm staying with between Perrin and Rayleigh.
Okay. Between Perrin and Rayleigh. And Rayleigh, are you staying with Perrin as you he approaches the gates?
Yes.
All right. The guy who seems to be sort of the head of the group as you guys approach, before you can get all the way to the gate, you're moving through this small mob of probably about 20 people tops. And the head kind of turns to you before you can get all the way up to the guards. He says, "And who might you be, good sirs?"
I'm Perrin Brightblade. I'm just here to pray, give my respects, and go about my business.
And do you stand with us for the common good with the Arithnovics, or do you stand with the Gilded Lords?
I stand with Pelor.
So you stand with the Gilded Lords, then?
I don't even know what the Guild of Lords is. I'm not from this city. I'm just passing through, wanting to pray and be on my way.
He looks you up and down. Well, that's mighty fine armor that you have there. That's a likely story that you don't know who the Gilded Lords are, and he does like really bad air quotes. And you wear a golden icon around you. You must be one of them, or one of their guards, or perhaps one of their sycophants.
I assure you, sir, that I am not. I am just here to pray, but I am starting to lose my patience.
So then you're here for the common good.
Like I said before, I'm just here to pray. I'll try to walk past him.
All right, the guards basically have to more or less keep them at bay with their weapons and crack it open slightly as they try to push, and they start chanting again about, you know, the coffers being emptied to the people and blah 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 blah, and they let you into the temple complex. And all right, MJ, but they shut it before Relay and Azar could get through. Now they turn to Azar and they say, "Who are you, a Gilded Lord? Look at your golden inlaid leather jacket, or whatever, however you describe the sigil on your robe. You sound like a total faggot now. Golden inlaid leather jacket, fingerless gloves. Like, what are you, a male stripper?"
Of course.
He's magic.
Kevin's in the male stripper, man. No, I say,
so anyways,
I put up two left middle fingers and I say, "Fuck them golden guild gods," or whatever they are. I'm down with the Vix, man. I hold up my fist.
Solidarity, brother.
I can't remember what the Vix the Therians or something like that.
Oh, the Arithnovix.
Yeah, I'm calling them Vix for short. But
that's fine.
Like that's how Azar is saying it. Like, I'm not being a dick as Jacob. That's how Azar says it.
That's fine. So you're with the Vix then, huh? And they look you up and down.
The red band, as I might go to lift my arm sleeve, I casually tuck a red band there. I'm like, "See this?" But I keep it on with my hand.
All right, then. So you're with the common good, correct?
Of course. Good all day, man.
Perfect. And one of them begins to try to take your gilded cloak off of you.
I hand it to him. Or let him.
He takes it, and he says, "Those gloves, those look expensive too. Give those to us so that we can have the wealth from these items redistributed to the people, to the common people. Those look expensive as well. Give us those.
I hold up my hands and I'm like, dude, trust me, I totally would take these off if I could, but those fucking Gilded Lords put a curse on these, keep them on my hands. If I take them off, I die. And right now I need to be alive to fight the power. And I hold up my fist again.
Give me an obstacle 3 deceive.
Okay. Let's go here. Deceive. And I'm going to add 2 potential to that.
Nice.
He says, oh, so you wish to fight the power with us then? We're still going to have to take your cloak and your gilded gloves, and that shirt as well. And one of them passes you a white shirt, like a simple white button-up shirt, and they take your like more expensive silken shirt. He says, these will fetch a good price. You'll get your cut of it, of course.
I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And I give a thumbs up, but I still have the gloves on because they don't come off. They're magically bound to me. Sorry, dude. As I keep like bluffing to him.
Oh, the gloves. I thought you were talking about the daggers. So do you give up your daggers then?
No, the daggers are stuck to my belt. Like they're stuck to me. They cursed all my clothing. I can't take it off. I'm stuck looking like them to be shamed, and instead of being shamed, I wear it to make them look like fools. Because I have to.
He says, you seem to have great power among the Erethnolviks. Are you blessed by Erethnol himself?
Dude, me and Erethnol go way back.
And they take you by the arm, not in a threatening manner, more like in excitement. They said, you must go and meet Morthos. And they start have you by each elbow, and they're sort of like dragging you off back towards where that chanting was going on. Do you fight them in any way?
Jacob? Drop.
Oh man, I was like talking so much. I stop and I pull back and I'm like, guys, listen. I've been sent by Erethnol himself to keep that paladin in check because he's like a new recruit right now and he's trying to just get out of town. So I'm trying to like get him in on this, guys, because he is the MVP. We need him on our team.
Listen, we have plenty of people here at the gate. Keep an eye on that paladin. You need to come with us to meet Morthos, and they start dragging you off.
God, Rayleigh has to come with me because Erethnol said he has to stay with me as I'm getting dragged away.
They turn to Rayleigh and they say, very well, and they take you by the elbows and begin dragging you along. Yeah, go check on your phone.
I'm hoping that Rayleigh explodes with power and hold fucking everybody, and let's get out of here.
Relay's eyes begin rolling in the back of his head.
All right. Let's see here.
Can't take you guys anywhere.
Can't take us anywhere. I'm Kevin Kevinson now because of all this shit.
All right. Let's see. Give me a moment to think.
Okay.
You levitate up. Rayleigh levitates up, and from his hands shoot out these magical chains, and they all like sort of link from his hands to everybody else's hands and creates this web of chains. And he speaks in a voice that is not his, and he says, "We are all equals here.
We are all."
And everyone.
I immediately follow up with my hands in the sky, and I say, "Behold the words of Erethnol."
Kevin's the greatest man ever.
Yeah, no shit. And the grounds start to shake a little bit, and Rayleigh's eyes glow, and he speaks out and sort of like he's speaking in tongues, more or less, but like the people seem to understand it, but you don't quite know what he said. Like neither of you even. And then the people, yes, we must overthrow the Gilded Lords. And one of the leaders points to one of the guys and they says, go and bring Morthos here. We have found our prophet of Erythnel.
Man, I tried so hard to avoid these guys. And now
the loops we're sending,
or are you watching all this?
I'm going to leave that up to you whether or not I walked far enough before all of this started.
It's absolutely up to you, or we could roll a dice. If you want to go into the temple, you're more than welcome. I'm not good because they chatted for quite a while out here.
Yeah, I think I'd be
And
in
you
the
kind
temple
of-
at this point.
Go bother somebody else. I'll find your tablet in a minute. Anyway, so you head off into the temple. And inside it's vast vaulted ceilings. The pews are gilded. Everything has like a touch of wealth to it. And there are many attendants, people who light candles. It's like a cathedral in there. So there's like the candle people cleaning the icons, and there's fucking like priests walking around and doing priestly stuff. It's like a very big temple complex in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys outside are sort of being drugged by the group towards Morthos as Morthos is being brought to you. And well, what do you guys think? That will be the end of the session for today.
Oh, crap. I was hoping more buildings would have fallen.
Man, it's a fun game. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
That's
this is a good
really awesome. All the shenanigans, the lies upon lies Azar is telling.
Oh, and you have me hook, line, and sinker. I believe your name is Kevin Kevinson.
That's right.
Kevin.
All right.
Yeah,
Batman.
I'm only calling you Kevin from now on.
I got a fucking answer to it.
Relay, unfortunately, doesn't get to choose the way the gods portray through him, and it seems like Erythnol himself or somebody masquerading as Erythnol has spoken through him, and now they think that you are some degree of prophet, which this cannot
go good.
Well, because I'm going to have to be like
You're gonna have to break
being very against Erythnol and pro Pelor, even if I'm with the Erythnol people.
Well, when you're in the temple, you could figure out who Erythnol is, perhaps. That could be something on your list of things to do. Now let's go through everybody's motivations. Well, starting with Azar, because you're first in my list of things that I have popped up. Develop a stronger bond with the team. Really worked towards that. I would not say that you have a strong bond yet.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. But I will agree that you worked towards it, at least tried. Everyone else think that's accurate?
Yeah.
He did.
Okay.
I think him and Perrin were agreeing on a lot of stuff, and not
like his name is Kevin,
but we were both trying to keep Relay in check when we were still in the mountains.
He shared what
that's very true.
He shared what his real name, even though it was a lie. We didn't determine it as a lie. He shared what his real name was to the party, and so it made that connection with us that, oh, he's actually sharing with us and telling us the truth.
All right.
One of the very few things Rayleigh believes.
That's right.
He doesn't believe shit, but he believes Kevin Kevinson.
What kind of name is Azar? I mean, come on.
And Jacob, when you said Morthos is totally, that's right out of the D&D book of typical tiefling names. So if tieflings have bad guy names, that's on them.
All right. Okay.
So you might actually have known a Morthos and Mitric, who is probably like a little dude with glasses and small horns. Now next, your next motivation, cull the competition of skulls to better your chances. No, that did not happen. Conjure a heading or location of the nearest skull of Balthazar. If you want to reword that one to make sense, you did figure out where they were, so I will point for that.
Yeah, you found out where fast marches are.
Yeah, you didn't conjure it per se, but you did succeed. So actually, I would say you could delete this motivation.
Oh,
You could delete it and create a new one next session or this session before we finish off. You have some time to think about it. Okay, and that one will be worth a crux. So currently, you are in the lead with 6 crux.
Yeah. Nice.
Perrin, you're next. Figure out how to break the curse to save lives.
I learned a little bit about the Lich, but I don't think I figured out how to break the curse yet.
Hey, is that guy here? No.
What guy?
I know, but I heard. Oh, my bad. I didn't realize the mic was on. We have a guy that's mowing our lawn, and it's like raining. He didn't finish it yesterday. He like did most of it, so I don't know. I was wondering if he's coming back.
That's cool. All right, so find out how to break the curse. You did some research into the Lich. You figured out how to kill the Lich. You didn't find anything out about the curse, really, so that's a no-go. Find a skull for myself and relay so that we could survive. You guys did find the map and you found out where the temple was, so I could say in an abstract way you have moved towards that.
Okay.
So I'll give you a point for that. And then be Mormon-like. Yeah, you've definitely been Mormon-like. You have tried to convert them. Whether or not you were anywhere near succeeding is beside the point.
I would say that's
tried to convert them.
More Jehovah's Witness-like.
No, he kind of was doing that with Azar, because he's like, don't you mean the one true God? Yeah, don't you mean the God? Don't you mean my God and your God as well, and everybody's God?
Mormon as a
I gave him a crux
Mormon,
for it.
Jehovah's Witness, evangelical, I don't, just kind of generic terms.
All right, MJ, find a skull that I could survive. I will give you a point towards that because you're definitely working towards it, once again, with locating the Vast Marsh, even though it took you a while to realize that it was actually named the Vast Marsh.
Yeah.
Find the Temple of the Forbidden.
Yeah.
Once again,
yep.
Those are almost the same thing at this point, but I'll give you a crux for it. If you would like in the future to replace one of those or marry those together and make a new one, that would be fine.
Okay.
And determine Azar's true motivations towards me. I would say that
I don't think I did.
You tried for it, but you didn't succeed in it. So I'll give you another crux. So you've now taken the lead with 7 crux, Perrin with 4, and Azar with 6.
Nice.
So you guys have some crux to work with. Hopefully we'll get to some more rolls. I expect this. This was very much a lot of exposition this session. And also I did have to go AFK for a pretty long phone call, which is actually part of why I'm wrapping it up early. I'm going to go meet my wife for lunch. So,
hey,
and
what about like XP and levels? Is that a thing in this game, or are we just keeping consistent with what we have?
You get the XP per skill, and the skill ranks up.
Oh, I mean, in the sense of learning new skills mostly. Like, I don't care if I'm level 1 or level 200, as long as I can unlock new things to do.
Right. We'll definitely unlock new things. We'll put some of that sort of along the lines of when it makes sense. Like if you've had a chance to really delve into it, or if you have an epiphany of like, man, I really wish I had a spell that could do this to this guy. I might figure out how to work it in, and then you learn a new spell or something along those lines.
Well, what if I fill in my motive with learn a new spell?
You could definitely put that, but it's going to have to be a lot more pointed. Otherwise, I could teach you a spell that makes people fart. I don't know. I mean, you have to be.
I will find a way to use
it. Figure out a new spell that allows me to shoot fire from my hands, or figure out a new spell that allows me to change my appearance, or you have to be more specific.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you're like to change my appearance, learn a new spell that allows me to change my appearance so that I can escape the city, or something along those lines would have to be how you'd have to write the motivation, so that I can actually figure out a spell that makes sense. Otherwise, it's just so fucking wide open. I have no clue.
Gotcha.
Any questions or any comments or whatever?
It was a good one. It's shaping up to be a fun game.
I mean, it was a lot of role playing, but it still came out well because we had a lot of fun things that are starting to develop between the characters was what's happening.
I feel like we made a lot of progress this session.
Yeah, I agree.
You made important progress for sure. You guys know more about the skulls. This is what you guys were on the cusp of last time when Jacob's connection died.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
Now everybody's clueless.
I like that our next step is to get on a boat. Like we have to actually cross a sea. I like that.
Okay. And the whole time the song will be playing, I'm on a boat. Y'all have a bard strumming a lute. I'm on a boat.
God damn, I swear, I should have played a bard or something with all this music shit.
Hey, multi-class.
I might
multi-class, yeah, you could totally choose to
just add
learn to play an instrument.
Add a motivation that you're learning to sing and you're portraying yourself as a bard.
It all came from when that crowd was chanting. The rhythm born inside me.
Of hey, hey, ho, ho, the Gilded Lords have got to go. It was so inspirational.
You're less of a bard and more of like a rapper bard.
Down with the gold clothes.
Because they dug. Yeah, like I'm sitting here and the arithmetics are, if you haven't picked up, more or less based on social justice warriors in current times, and the way they just get in big, make up the most vapid chants, like hey, hey, ho, ho, insert thing we don't like here has got to go. That's like their primary chant for every fucking thing. It's kind of comical.
And I was really trying to avoid them. And then, nope.
I like how Joe really fucking ran through a lot of hosts. Like, no, fucking talk to Morthos.
I'm trying to embody the way these people are. They're irrational, postmodernists, kind of like strange ideologies, and they try to force it on everybody. That's kind of what social justice warriorism is like forcing you to believe the way I do, and so they're very adamant, and it's kind of hard to but that's that.
I like it.
The group outside the temple was predetermined in my notes, so it's not like to force you to do it. That was very much, and honestly, I expected it to be a little bit more explosive with Azar stolen. But he actually rolled with it and took the bullshit route, which is a very nice curveball. And now you guys are potentially. Yep. Before I expected Azar to be much more confrontational about having his stuff taken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Azar. Now they think I'm a prophet.
But then
I'm a half-naked guy just yelling at this conduit of chains and godly screams and shit. I'm rolling with
Relay, and in all fairness, Relay decided that moment to channel something. And now while you were whispering me that you wanted to channel an earthquake, unfortunately, you're at the god's whim.
Yeah, exactly.
And your desire of an earthquake instead manifest becoming a prophet of erythanol, which is
right. No, and that's kind of how that's what I would like to do moving forward, because I want more of your say in it than just me having it happen. I want to put it out there to you, and then you just decide, and then I'll roll with what happens off what you decide.
Well, like, take for instance the mass paralysis one you did.
Yeah.
That one was great, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's roll with it." They're all paralyzed.
Exactly.
Let me go look under a rock.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm just
this one.
Yeah, but I'm gonna like say, all right, I want to channel something from the gods here, and then I'll throw out an idea to you. But I'm going to leave it up to you what gets channeled in the situation here, because this is something that really has no control over. It just happens. Yeah. He's just a conduit.
And now you get to be a prophet of erythanol.
I know.
That's going to be definitely.
I could totally see him.
That's awesome.
Like a white dress kind of thing, and dressed up as this fucking savior.
And he's looking
Relay
to escape
is
every
more or less
second he can.
You're more or less like Jesus of social justice warriors at the moment. I mean, only good things can happen. Only good things.
Oh my god!
I can't wait to see how Perrin's gonna react to all of this, because I'm over here yelling at a crowd of people that this is erythanol, some amazing god prophet thing, and Perrin's like, but there's only one god. What's going on out here?
So, yeah, Perrin was originally searching Relay as a link to the gods, but now that he's going to be like all these other gods, he's a blasphemer.
Oh, Jesus. We're all going to be trying to kill each other in our sleep.
And I don't mind if Perrin dies, but I have a feeling, I mean, I'm going to play him like super lawful good. And damn the consequences, and just see where it goes. And if he gets in trouble, he dies, and I need to roll up a new one. That's part of the game.
Yeah, I feel that way too. If anything were to happen to any of the characters, I feel like we could keep the story going with another character getting.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's hundreds of characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Hundreds, literally.
I mean, anytime you walk into a city, there's more people to choose from.
I never body plot immunity, so keep that in mind. Yeah. I've killed off players before because if it makes sense, do it. That's just the way I play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in terms of Perrin and his tenets, you also have to, I mean, if you're a tool of the gods, you have to be wieldable. And if you have yourself destroyed and broken, so I guess what I'm saying is going out with violence immediately and getting yourself killed would, to a degree, go against your tenets. Like, you can't do good if you're dead.
He's not going to seek out violence, but he's also going to speak his mind and is not afraid to call a giant mob all blasphemers to their faces.
Because that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. He's lawful, and he wields a mighty sword, and he feels he's protected by the one true God, and what else do you do?
I've played a lot of neutral good characters. I've never played a lawful good character before. It's pretty entertaining.
I fucking love Perrin. I think it is a great addition to
the
party.
Yeah.
It's funny. I could totally foresee all three of our deaths. Like, I mean, Perrin's going to go down as a martyr or pissing off a mob or something.
We could all die.
Going to lie at the wrong time and get his fucking teeth knocked in. And then fucking Relay's going to channel something that causes his body to explode into energy and disperse in like a nuclear explosion. Like, this city's gone. There's no more Devarnish anymore.
Like The thing I like about style we've been doing lately is like, it wouldn't be surprised if these characters go the distance, and I wouldn't be surprised if all three of us died next week.
That's true.
Well, guys, it was a pleasure. I have got to get going, and I will see you guys in the forums. Feel free to hang out and bullshit and converse with your ideas, because all the little shit in the forum I read, and it spawns new ideas. So, as MJ knows, I very much use you guys against yourself. I mean, to help build the story.
That's right.
So I will talk to you guys later.
Later.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Later.